Hello, and welcome to Probability of Demise. We are a tabletop role-playing gamer crew composed of pandemic friends, which we call our pod, aka Probability of Demise. We play in a world of our own creation using D&D as our system. We apologize in advance for our puns and memes, but that's a lie because I'm not apologizing. And to start us off this time before we get into announcements, I have a story. It was, he reflected, quite surreal to hear the town's early morning birdsong signaling a new day while he had just finished ending someone's life. He watched as the life drained, quite literally, from the young guardsman, former guardsman, lying on the ground at his feet, the blood running in rivers between the cobbles from the wound in his chest. If only this guard hadn't betrayed the town, they both could have still been asleep. But they hadn't, and now they had to accept the consequences. He was always careful when he did jobs like this. It wouldn't do for someone of his caliber to be caught by the authorities, although the authorities in this town don't exist. Which was why he was wiping off his knife nonchalantly when there was scuffling noises from the end of the narrow alley. Glancing up, he saw the woman. She was dressed in her adventuring gear, wearing a look of sheer terror. A growl of frustration escaped his lips as he started to move toward her. The prior guardswoman and keeper at the gate to the guardhouse turned and ran as fast as she could up the street and around the corner, her breath condensing in front of her in the cool early morning air. She ran through Fisherton as if the hordes of hell were chasing her, and for all she knew, they were. Admittedly, one person does not a horde make, but she knew this man had seen her, and as he had already taken down her 4 companions, she knew what he was after. Conscious that her boots were making a ton of noise on the cobbles and mud, she turned and ducked a few streets away from where she had last spotted him, headed for a door that she knew existed at the wall of the city. Peering cautiously from her hiding space, she looked back the way she had come, but couldn't see anyone following her. She paused a little longer. If only she had listened to that young adventurer. But then one of her ilk was after her, so maybe it wouldn't have made a difference. She felt in a hidden pocket of her trousers, reassuring herself that she still retained the keys to the city wall. And with one last look down the streets, set off in the opposite direction from which she had originally started out. She hoped she could make the other door in the wall. He ran along paved and unpaved streets, around sharp bends, hoping that woman was not too far ahead and hadn't disappeared into a building passageway or simply slipped over the wall. He hadn't had time to check. When setting up this plan after the massacre in the town square, he hadn't really considered the strange people who inhabited this town. He cursed himself for not thinking of it, especially as he had been so careful in setting up the plan. His boss would be furious. Not the ones who hired him, but his actual boss. If he didn't stop her before she found others or became a spectacle, He started running. He had no choice. He had to find her. Welcome to Probability of Demise, and possibly the last moments of the last guards person in Fisherton. Does anybody have any announcements?
Melodia Women's Chorus of NYC.
Whoops, sorry. Do that again.
Melodia Women's Chorus of NYC is having a concert on Sunday, May 22nd. We will be performing at Church of the Holy Apostles. We'll be performing a variety of what you could consider folk songs. We're doing some of the pop variety, Linda Ronstadt, Carole King, Dolly Parton. We're also doing a gospel piece. We have a banjo player, a fiddle player, our concert pianist, Taisia Pushkar, who is stunning, and all of the people we hire to play, all the instrumentalists are always fabulous. So if anything, you should come for that alone. And second, the Stonewall Chorale is having their Pride concert on Thursday, June 9th, also at Church of the Holy Apostles. And our rep will consist of opera and Broadway chorus classics. We're doing a lot of Verdi. We're doing the Triumphant March from Aida. We're doing Brindisi. We're doing Va Pensiero. We're also doing Habanera from Carmen. We're also doing, let's see, we're doing the Anvil Chorus. For the Broadway stuff, we're doing a gigantic Sondheim medley. We're doing some stuff from State Fair, Rent.
Are you doing all of Broadway?
It kind of feels like it, but it's a really great program. It's going to be a really fun concert.
And I'm there too now.
Yeah. And it's going to be very gay. So, with that in mind.
Well, that's exciting. Anything else in the announcements lands for anybody?
That sounds like a pretty gay concert.
So I'll be sure to update the information at the time that I get the information. Just FYI, it wasn't my fault last time.
Nope. I forgot to send it to them.
Sorry, I don't really want to out you that way either. I guess I'm a terrible human being right now. Do we have a word of the day?
I have not spoken to our librarian who keeps the word.
How about...
The word of the day is circus.
Circus. Yes, the circus. So
multiple circuses are called the circi. That's not true.
That would be awesome, actually. I would really love it if everything got like kind of Latinized in a horrible way. I am Rurik. I am serving as the GM for this game that we're playing.
I'm Larissa. I play Trixie, who is a monk, and also looks
squirrely.
Yes.
Hungry.
Extremely squirrel-like.
I'm Asher. I am Human. I am poet.
Wannabe.
Actually, I'm Jason. I play Asher.
I was loving that.
The walls are crashing down between my reality and my fantasy, and I am now Asher. Just kidding. My back hurts too much to be that young. Yeah. So Asher is a poet specializing in haiku poetry and a bard, and he's discovering that his haiku poems help him to do magical things. So that's been fun. He's getting maybe a little big for his britches, but we'll see.
Little.
Well, a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, adult life is crashing in on these two as they traverse.
Yeah, they'll probably have bills soon or something. I don't know.
Taxes.
Pay the utility bill and rent.
Oh, also, friends can be easily destroyed or lost or disappear, and
join the circus.
Not everybody is feeling as brazen about the adventurous life as they are, and it's a mixed bag. Youthful enthusiasm meets life.
We may or may not have just gotten a guard killed. I don't even know what that was. You know,
So the joys. So
I have no memory of this place.
that's the
you
story Rick
literally
was just reading.
Oh, got it.
talked to her last time and called her a coward.
Oh, she was.
Yeah,
Maybe she wasn't such a coward. She wouldn't be
maybe
dead.
she had lots of reasons. But here we go. In the last session, I believe you retrieved Bonnie and crashed. She was comatose,
Mm-hmm.
or as I really enjoyed last time, catatonic. Well, the cat was catatonic. She's just comatose. And you kind of went straight to sleep, and we left off there.
Did we?
So, unless there's anything you would have
Oh,
done,
I have no memory of this place.
I'm trying to remember if we crashed at the bookshop, though.
no, you. I believe you crashed at the
Oh, the Fisher hut.
fishing hut.
Right. Okay.
You just slept there once before already, so you kind of like made your own space there.
I just can't remember. I thought we went to the book place because of Bonnie, because then we talked to Fawn, and there was some sort of crush thing. Oh no, that was when
That's
we were looking
before
for
you
Bonnie.
retrieved
Right,
Bonnie.
right. Sorry.
Clearly, I listened to the podcast.
Asher's head's not large enough
I
already.
don't have time to listen to other people's podcasts. What makes you think I'm going to have time to listen to my own?
And there goes our viewership. Bye, Andy.
Andy's not here.
No,
Andy, what the heck, man?
We don't have anybody on right now.
It doesn't matter.
Nope, it's fine.
Wait,
Just
we
laugh.
don't do this for them. If you're here, we love you. Thank you for coming and being here. But
We actually do it for the money.
yeah, it's totally for the money. We do this for us. So if you're along for the ride, welcome. If you're not, I'm not sure how you're watching this, but
We have a strange purple cheese, and you don't. So, yeah.
Oh, it's goat cheese.
Is that what that is?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
I'll wait till the break because I like it to be room temperature.
Do you want me to, like, stuff it up my shirt for a little bit?
Ew.
Okay, so what are you up to?
First thing I would do would be to go and check on Bonnie.
All right, describe to me what you're doing so I can see if there's anything worth rolling for.
I mean, I would check her color and see if it differs from whatever color she normally is. Whether that be paler or bluer, I'm not sure. I would
She's
check her
turning
pulse.
blue. Oh, wait.
She appears a little green around the gills. I'll give that one away for free. But if you'd like to roll a medicine check,
What I would like to do is put my hands on her.
Only with her,
grab-
only with her consent.
Consent,
No,
please.
Well, put my hands on either side of like her face, and like squish it together, kind of like I'm having her make a fish face. And then I am going to use a key point to do something.
Step of the wind.
yeah, well, first, before you use your key point to do something, could you roll the medicine check that I asked for? Because I think that may have a bearing on this.
Oh yeah. Oh, I forgot I have a high. 22.
Yeah, your examination of her as you're looking at her and checking her out, it's not that she's like drained of her life
Mhm.
force. There's some sort of poison in her system
Mm-hmm.
that is corroding
Mm-hmm.
her from the inside.
In which case I'm still going to use a key point and use physician's touch. Where when you use a hand of healing on a creature, you can also end one disease or one of the following conditions affecting the creature: blinded, deafened, paralyzed, poisoned, or stunned.
Okay. Roll the hit points too.
I don't usually give the Is it just the same? Is it just the one?
She's not really a healer.
I'm not.
She's a hitter.
I'm not.
She's a merciful hitter.
What's really funny is I just don't see Hand of Healing on here. I know I have it. I don't know where it is.
Did you give it up?
No, it's just not. It's like not. It refers to it, but it doesn't say it.
Your abilities, not in your actions.
But then why is Hand of Harm there?
Because that's a damage dealing action.
All right, I guess. Okay.
Waka,
Yes,
waka.
it is 1d6 plus 3. So that is 7.
Okay.
7 hit points.
Based on your prior medicine check being as high as it was and this going on, you sense as you kind of like thrust in your own personal energies through the key that is expended that your ability is catching the corrosive element and drawing it out and purging it through pores. You can even see like little driplets of clear fluid coming out of every pore on their body. But then as you kind of finish this, you feel something shift. And there's something that was feeding the poison. It's very wrong. And it's not of her anatomy or of a more everyday nature. There's something actively trying to regain that corrosive element. There's more to it than the poison itself. Something else is pushing actively and currently.
Mm. So the poison's gone for now.
Mm-hmm. But there's something trying to reestablish it.
How's she doing?
Well, it's weird. She was definitely poisoned. And I think I got it out. But it's like it's trying to come back. So I don't know. Maybe she's like, maybe someone has like some sort of spell on her or like Link.
I'm gonna check on the cat, like her connected cat.
Yeah. It does seem to be unconscious as Bonnie is, but it looks a little bit more robust and healthy. And even as you kind of sit there and watch it, you can see it kind of turn its little head and then stretch a little and open up its eyes and look at you.
Kitty! I'm gonna pick it up and pet it.
Roll an animal handling check, just for fun. Does it purr or does it bite?
It bites me.
Not your kitty.
Someday I'll remember to open up all my stuff before we start playing. Today is not that day. That is a 4 with my bonus.
Awesome. So yeah, this is much more of the it's not like it's not a purposeful attack. It's more of a playful instinctual response. And you pick it up and you know how cats and other animals will do the full foreclaw and mouth grasping.
Yeah.
It's not pulling or tugging at you. It's not causing you harm, but you're now in a position where despite its diminutive size, it has grappled you. You are currently grappled by a very small creature.
Ow.
It's not going to stop you from doing much except with that hand for fear of actual damage. Okay.
I think we should go.
Is there a doctor in this town?
I don't know. I mean,
Probably not. I guess we could ask around.
Maybe. I mean,
We could go back to that potion lady.
maybe. The thing is like I don't think it's like a temporary thing. I think it's. I really wish we had a way that we could just communicate with Nee. Because he could at least give us advice, but I don't know.
Nee.
Very funny, ha.
Nah, didn't work. He was watching us before. Mm.
I almost want him to roll a religion check. Asher worships the knee. Sorry.
It's a whole new meaning to bend the knee.
Bend the knee to knee. So, what are y'all up to? I mean,
He says she's not the punny one.
uh-huh.
I never said that.
She's the Punisher.
I just don't use them excessively so that they're more appreciated and rare when I do use them.
So she's not an egalitarian bunny.
I mean, Vaughn may know someone, or may at least know what to do, or Miss M might know. I don't know. They're kind of really our only friends here.
Except for the whole town loves us now, but yeah.
Well, not the whole town, not the guards.
Well, they're gone, so. Alright, well, let's go to the bookstore, I guess.
Should we just leave Bonnie here?
I don't think anybody's gonna hurt her in here.
All right. I'm gonna draw the curtain, so at least, like,
Create some privacy.
yeah, to anybody looking in, I mean, she is just sleeping, but, like, hopefully nobody bugs her.
Okay. Okay, so off to the bookshop. As you go, it's a slightly different mix of reactions. You see a wagon being pulled by two, early adulthood young men, and they kind of give you both a dirty look. And it's strange because most of the people are still smiling and grinning at you. And
Can I help you?
The one that's to the right. Let's see. Yeah,
What do you need?
you carry it. And he steps aside from the wagon.
Why?
It's your bodies.
No, this is my body.
Roll a perception check.
$19.
Ooh. Yeah, just as you say, this is my body, you see a hand flop out, and you recognize it as one of the hands of the guards you defeated.
Oh, well, I mean, it's not mine.
Hey, your mess, you clean it up. Come on.
I mean, yeah, okay, I'll help, but I don't know why you guys just didn't pile and, I guess, burn them? Are you gonna bury
In
them?
the middle of town? That's disgusting.
I don't know.
That smell will last for days. Have you ever been to the lye shed?
Yeah.
Did you like the scent?
No.
Yeah, imagine that worse. It's nasty.
Okay.
We had a run when I was a kid, and I tell you, my earliest memories are the scent of... He kind of looks around. Yeah, never mind. Shouldn't say these things out loud.
Right.
Okay, well, where are you headed?
Outskirts. Are you really gonna help?
I mean, I will. He has to be somewhere, but I'll help.
Oh. So you make her do all the work for you? She's little.
No.
She's stronger than me.
Eh, she's got more in her than... Kind of side glances at you. Yeah, forget I say that. I'm kind of an idiot.
Okay.
The entire time the other person has just been standing there kind of looking dumbly at nothing.
Okay. Well, why don't you head off on where we were heading, and I'll catch up with you once I'm done with this.
Okay.
All right, so it's kind of splitting up, and you're helping
Don't
them
get
with the...
kidnapped.
I'll do my best. You gonna kidnap me?
Roll an insight check.
15.
Who's the kid? You're a kid?
I mean, I'm a teenager.
Nah, that's not a kid. I'm not gonna kidnap her. What'd you roll?
15.
He very clearly is interested in kidnapping her, but not to kidnap her, but mostly because he thinks she's very pretty. He is obviously a crap, flirtatious person, but with your insight roll on that, you're like, yeah, probably safe. Mostly.
All right, you kids have fun. Where you going? I'll meet up with you after.
Skirtsing points off again in the same direction they pointed before, which is kind of beyond the light works.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, if I don't end up where you're headed by the time you're done, then I guess you come to us.
Okay. So you are going off, and just for the joy of it, why don't you roll a d12?
Okay. Wait, is that?
I can't see your dice, so you get to tell me.
That's a 1.
It is the most inane conversating ever. You start to have regrets as you hit the town wall, and those just deepen the further out you get.
No regrets.
You are walking towards the bookshop. You're closer, so you could probably get there quicker than you do. With your help, they are moving faster, and they are appreciative. So, like, you do get their positive bits and pieces. And if you choose to ask them questions or something like that, I can have you do some rolls to, if you're trying to interrogate them for information or something. They seem open to. He's clearly interested. The other one doesn't talk the entire time.
I'll have a think on it.
Yeah, just take your time to think about it. You get to the bookshop and you see that contraption still in front of the bookshop.
Oh no, he's still here. I forgot about him. All right. I'm going to knock
On the contraption or the door?
The door.
Yeah. You knock. There's a beat or two. And then Vaughn pokes her head through. Ah. Hi. She
Hi.
looks beyond you. Hi. So, you came by to visit?
I was wondering if you'd have a doctor in this town. Or a healer, or a wizard, or a witch, or a...
Well, some say that the potion lady who comes in every couple of days to run that stall, she's kind of a witch. But if you mean, like, do you need herbs to... And she kind of starts looking a little bit flushed, but also, like, upset. Do you need herbs to stop a... Do you need... Do you need... Did you And a little bit of a tear starts to corner.
Now I got it. Took me a second.
Did you, is there do you have someone who needs to stop somebody's moon water doesn't come?
Oh, no, that is not what I need. Bonnie is, we think she might be poisoned, so we need a healer.
Oh, that's good. I mean, that's not good. That's, just a second. And the door is just kind of slammed in your face. Clearly too flustered to even make sense. And then a beat or two, the door swings open. I'm sorry. Come on in. Miss M's not here. Please sit down. There's no chairs in this front room, but she just kind of like gestures. Healing doctors, nurses. There's a midwife.
Better than nothing?
If Miss M were here, I'd ask her. She can sometimes do things.
Did
but
you leave with Grand?
I would say, and roll an insight check.
9, I think.
I would say that Grand left with her when his machine wouldn't start up. And his assistant or whatever stayed for a while, and then but they left it there. So do you want the midwife?
Sure.
Okay. Do you want me to take you there?
Sure.
Let me close up. It'll just be a little bit. And notably, the bookshop has no traffic in it. There's nobody in there. But she scurries about writing things, and then she slips into the back room, and when she comes back, she looks like she's pulled her hair back and washed her face, and she's like done a little bit of sprucing of her dress. And okay.
How old is this kid again? It's like 12 or something?
She's in her early teens.
Early 10s.
Early teens. Early teens. Early teens.
I guess your teens are technically your 10s.
Yeah.
Early teens. And she kind of just skips out the front door before turning around and going, "Oh, aren't you coming?"
I'm going to go out and I'm going to try to get into the car and see if it starts. Not the car, but the contraption.
The contraption. So yeah, it's easy enough to open the door and you get into the contraption and you can see that somebody just, like, you spent some time in the Artificers Guild. So you kind of know how these things are supposed to look and work and function, even though they're not heavily used. The Cartbolts machines are much faster and speedier and much more well put together than these things are, but these are meant to be autonomous from systems and underground spaces. And when you start to mess with it, you realize somebody's ground the gears together. Like, this is the same. You remember hearing some of the teachers and artificers and other people who were working on something like cussing at inept young students who would leave some of the machinery in this type of state. And you're pretty clear on why this hasn't moved.
Do I know how to fix it?
Go ahead and roll this. We'll call this an engineering check, but I would like you to roll your intelligence. Do you have any proficiencies in tools of any sort?
No, I don't think so.
Then just a straight intelligence check right now.
11.
11.
Yeah, honestly,
Fixed it like a poet.
honestly, like, you look at it and you're like, But then as you're looking at it a little bit, you're like, I could probably do this. But you also, as you're having this thought, realize it's probably going to take you a couple of hours.
Well, I guess we'll have to walk.
What were you going to do?
I was going to borrow this contraption for fun, but
Oh, if you could do that, that'd be so nice. Because this is so ugly and the wagon can't get by anymore.
I might be able to fix it, but I have to do it later after I get help for Bonnie.
Okay. Awesome. and
Off we
she
go.
begins wandering you off. Did you want to, Trixie, ask any questions at this point, or are you still considering?
I wouldn't have asked anything like, I would have made small talk and
Okay.
inquired about, what it was like to live in a town and
With advantage, just roll a charisma check. Because he's already predisposed to you. Is that for me? Chocolat.
charisma. Not my specialty. Oh, charisma. No. 18?
Wow.
Well, I rolled high.
I mean, with the advantage, figured you would get something a little bit higher, but 18 surprised me, especially because I wrote down your charisma for different interactions for both of you, so I could kind of figure out who would just naturally get through certain barriers and who would have a harder time in it. That's impressive. So yeah, you
Not bad for a squirrel.
Squirtle.
you start to get kind of like a little bit of the gossip of town, the lowdown on who does what and who's interested in which things, and you kind of come to find out that this individual is a bit of the village gossip, considered really unintelligent by most, but kind of listens in at every doorstep.
Mm. It's always the quiet ones.
Quite a font of knowledge. And for some reason or other, you've struck a chord with him that has created the faucet that he is currently acting as, blathering on and on. Meanwhile, his companion continues to stolidly and silently, even with directly addressed with a question, move on.
So, what are your names?
I'm Jed. This is Jed.
Jed and Judd. Are you related?
Sure. The people here say that we're brothers, and you kind of look at them like they don't have a resemblance.
People say you're brothers?
Yep.
You don't know that yourself?
Nope. We were found on the road.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Some crazy person from north of here came through, and
And what?
I don't know. I was too young. I don't.
The person left you here or brought you or what?
Sure. Kind of. Yeah. Because we were on the road, found us, didn't keep us.
Okay. So who brought you up?
Yeah, this and that. Gave us jobs.
Like the town?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, that's what they do here. Is, they take care of each other,
Yeah.
and we got to pay it back.
Okay. I mean, it's nice that you have people to count on, even if they aren't your blood.
Count on?
For support. Depend on, ask for help.
They mostly just tell us what to do, but all right. Keeps plodding along.
All right.
You are quickly brought to a little bit of a hovel that looks kind of a mess on the outside. Little herb garden, sort of, but it's clearly not well taken care of. And Vaughn just walks straight in, starts calling out, Merida, 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 Merida. Comes back out. Found her. She's asleep. Should I wake her up? Do you want me to wake her up?
Oh, sorry. I zoned out. I thought you were still on that. Okay. Is she?
You have water.
Does she usually stay up late, or
Oh, you will? Okay.
does she drink?
Maybe. I mean, babies come when babies come, so she does it all. I mean, I heard the goats were giving birth last night, so.
I guess we could wake her up. Do you think she'll be mad?
Nah. Especially if you do it. Or I can do it.
Yeah, you could do it. I don't know her. That's weird.
She goes back in and you don't hear anything for a little bit, and then suddenly you hear a "God damn you, kids!" And a woman comes storming out of the little hovel. Fawn is nowhere in evidence, and she's just looking around, and her eyes she tries to make eye contact with you. Did you do this?
I did nothing. I'm gonna give her my most charming smile.
Roll a persuasion check.
28.
Why are you standing outside my house?
I came here with Fawn from the bookstore.
Where
and
is she?
she went to wake you up. But my friend is poisoned, and she said you might be the closest thing the town has to a healer.
You can see her face rapid shift as you're saying these things, from outrage directed at Fawn to sudden concern to all. And then, Fawn's poisoned?
No, my other friend back in town.
Who are you?
My name is Asher, and I am a traveling bard, poet, and performer extraordinaire.
What does all that mean?
I'm from Overton. Me and my friends, we came to town and
And you poeticize.
yes.
Is that hard work?
You know, turns out it's been harder than I thought it would be. There's been a lot of walking and a lot of fighting and a lot of, I don't know, making things appear out of nothing and dropping on people's heads. Like I thought it was just gonna be words, but you know, it's a lot.
I think I'll stick my arm elbows deep in some cow's uterus than fighting. But
Cool.
I guess you're here for me to check out your friend. I don't know what I can do.
I mean, is there anybody else that would know about poison in town?
No, I mean, occasionally one of the fishing people get into some sort of creature they're not ready for, and that's a bad thing. Every once in a while, a kid will eat something they shouldn't, so I handle that stuff.
Okay.
And I may have some other. You said you make things out of thin air.
Sometimes. I don't really know how, but I kind of
Would
do.
you call it a knack?
Sure.
I have one of those. So if it works with my knack, we can make it happen.
Okay.
If not, your friend is doomed.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So let's go.
All right. So we will. Fawn, where'd you go?
You hear absolutely nothing. Roll a perception check. You see nothing. Fawn has disappeared into thin air. She looks around.
I swear she was here.
Did you set her on me?
I just asked her to wake you up.
I hold you responsible by proxy for my wet bedding. After we deal with your friend. Let's go, kid. Where are we going?
Do you want me to try it off?
You're not set up to dry anything off. Let's not worry about it now. You got a friend in need. Let's take care of that first.
All right. To town.
Okay. And you both head back over. I think about this time, you're also making your return alone because the two of them, unless you would fight otherwise, try to convince you not to stay for the burning.
No, I would take their advice.
Yeah. And even as you walk, you can smell because they pile up a huge amount of wood prior to bringing the bodies. It was already there. And even as you walk away and they start the fire, you can smell the first scent, and it is what we know is gross and disgusting and terrifying and a horrifying smell. Very revolting. And I think at this point, Trixie has her first experience with the smell of death in that frame.
Call that the long pork.
Well, I mean, Overton had more resources to handle this in a maybe less brutal way. So, at any rate, so I think probably about the same time you both kind of run into each other, either just in or just before the door. So if you want to say what you would have done, would you have been first? It's up to you all, but whatever you think.
Did you?
How'd it go?
Fine. It's weird. The orphans, I guess, the two of them. But like, also nobody raped the town. Kind of. It's weird. I think they're like indebted to the town because the town kind of raised them. Weird. I don't know.
Did I pick up the midwife's name on the way here? Probably.
Fawn had shared it when she was yelling out.
Merida.
Merida. Mm-hmm.
This is Merida, and she's a midwife, and we're gonna see if she can help Bonnie.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, she's in here. We'll go inside. Hopefully, Bonnie's still there.
You go beyond the curtain. The cats are gone. Bonnie's gone. The room is gone. No, you go and Bonnie.
There is no Dana. Only
But Tanzanite's there. Weird.
How'd that happen?
Like zoinks.
Bonnie's laying there, and you see the kitten that bonded with her is laying right on top of her chest, just curled up right there. Well, should I?
Okay, so
She can explain. She knows more about what's wrong than me a little bit.
So she was poisoned, but I think I took care of that part. But there's something like lingering or like trying to make it come back. And I don't know.
All right, so something lingering, coming back. You said you had a knack. Do your friend have one too?
She can punch things really hard. She can jump really far.
Occasionally I can have like good and bad effects on people when I touch.
All right.
Check something.
All right. So, when you have a good touch, does it leave you exhausted? Or a bad touch, but
No, it just depends. It's like I can. It depends on how many times I do it. Like it doesn't leave me tired. It's just
oh, you have a bigger knack than I do. But
I know Like I can help with poison, and I did that, but it's not gone. You know what I mean?
I only have two knacks. One's for delivering babies healthy,
That's
and
a
the
good
other's a
knack.
weird one. And it scares me. But once I do it, I'm out.
Like
So I'd appreciate it if you could take me back to my place and dry off my space like you said you would.
Okay.
Because this is going to knock me for a
okay, we'll take care of you.
Yeah.
trusting two strangers here.
I mean, I'm really strong, so I'll totally be able to carry you back. That's not. I know I look small, but
Okay, she rolled crap on her insight, so she's trusting you. Because I did pre-rolls for this character. And she goes ahead and she puts her hands on Bonnie. And it's a little bit like what you had seen Tanzanite do in terms of the ritualistic piece to it. And it takes her a solid 10 minutes of what looks like a physical exam, but she keeps going to the place where the kitten is, and moving the kitten aside and putting her hands there. And then when she moves her hands away, the kitten moves back to that spot. But she doesn't seem to disturb the kitten. She just moves it aside gently each time and continues doing that. And it's about 10 minutes of some sort of little ceremony that she does. During this time, are you two up to anything, or just watching?
I'd be watching because obviously I grew up watching my mom, who was a healer, and like this is probably different than anything she's ever done. So I'm curious.
There's the other side of it. She's also a stranger, so I'm just kind of keeping an eye on it to make sure she doesn't do anything crazy or.
It takes a while, and then as you get to the last minute or so, you can see her hand just is resting over Bonnie's chest, and quite suddenly a bunch of black lines converge on her hand from Bonnie, and those black lines crawl up into her hand and up her arm and come up and go over her face and then come back down her other arm. And you can see that her other hand, which she's mostly hidden up until this point, is black from the knuckles down. And as that mass of black comes over, it covers her knuckles and settles into place. And then she takes a moment, a breath. I've done what
And
I can.
I go to step in to catch her.
She collapses in a
Okay.
faint.
Okay.
So go ahead and roll a dexterity saving throw to see if you're able to catch her quickly enough.
Oh, that was close. 15.
Yeah, you're able to slip in and catch her. It's kind of like, whoo.
Yeah.
She's bony. Get a nice little couple of bony bones and
Shoulder to cheek.
God, you're not as soft as you look, lady. But yeah, you're able to catch her before she falls on Bonnie. And could you roll a perception check?
9, I think.
You're uncertain if there's a change in Bonnie, but her kitten is now wandering around playing normally.
Well, that's a good sign.
Yeah, sure. You're gonna have to show me where to
Do you want
go
me to
here.
go get the wagon?
I guess, but I don't really have anywhere to put her in the meantime. So
Put her down on one of the cots.
But that we're not paying. Okay, I'll put her on mine. Could you fit on mine? Or is mine little? Okay.
Oh, they didn't adjust the size of your cot. You have
Okay, I'm just sleeping in a king size bed for me.
pretty much. They haven't dealt with small people here. It's pretty much a ubiquitous size, with the one exception of the guardswoman that you had met, and yourself, and the children.
All right. Okay, well, yeah, I guess we can maybe draw the curtain again. I hope that's not permanent.
I don't know. It looked like it was kind of already there. I think it just. All right. I'm gonna leave and go get the wagon from the bookshop. Do they still have? They can't get it out, right?
That's what Fawn told you when you were. But,
Did she lie?
hmm?
Did she lie?
Who?
Fun.
She said she couldn't get the wagon out because the contraption was in the way.
Yeah.
Oh.
But why did you say did she die?
I said, did
No,
she lie?
Oh, lie. Oh, roll a retroactive insight check.
19.
She was not lying.
Crap. Never mind. I forgot the wagon's blocked in by the contraption broke down. And Grandin, Miss M took off somewhere and yeah, I don't know. Hopefully not
Alright,
anything
then.
gross, but
That's a visual I didn't need, thank you.
do you think you can carry her?
Yeah, I should be able to carry her. She's just bony, so she caught me off guard.
Okay. I'll just go and show her, I guess, where we came from.
It takes you a good part of the day to kind of complete these errands. So by the time you're done, and you're going to use prestidigitation, I assume, to air out her linens. No sign of Fawn this entire time. You get everything set her into her bed.
Yeah, I'm gonna tuck her in, and I'm just gonna kind of take a look around and see, just because, like, healer's child to healer.
Yeah. Roll a perception check,
Professional adjacent curiosity.
and then depending on that, we'll talk about medicine checks.
Investigation?
Sure.
What did you say?
I said perception, but
Oh.
if you're like actually like looking through stuff in more detail, that would be investigation.
I wouldn't dig through stuff. It would be
Okay.
perception. 19.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mess, but you're able to kind of make out some of the basic components that you're used to seeing, like really basic things. Like it's clear that she's curing some bark that you know that your mother used to deal with pain. She has some other things that look a little less likely as medicine, but who knows? Everybody has their own unique style, and you know that your mother did talk to the occasional visitors who had new medicines or herbs to share, and she also occasionally dealt with traders who thought they could sell her things that weren't exactly what they were supposed to be. So you've seen a few bits and pieces, especially with a 19. It's overall, if it wasn't such a mess, it'd actually be a pretty good healer space. Most of it has to do with caring for birth.
Yeah.
You can see that there's plenty of sutures for any rupturing that might occur. There's even some tools that at first you're like, what is that for? And then you realize, oh, that's for turning a baby. That's a really big baby. So there's something around here that requires very large implements. But yeah, it's a healer space.
Okay.
You could probably cobble together from what she has a full healer's kit easily. She may even have some of those.
Okay. I don't want to take anything, but I am going to look a little bit closer, and I'm willing to roll an investigation check, because I want to see if I notice anything that kind of stands out that it would be in more connection to her, like her hand, whether it be like symbols or like maybe like a book or anything. Just I don't think I'm more worried for her than like scared of her or worried or afraid of her.
With that specific piece, I would roll an investigation check because you're going to have to get a little bit more hands-on.
While that's going on, I'm gonna take like 5 gold worth of the local currency that we had and like leave it on her nightstand or whatever.
Okay, yeah.
15.
15. I mean, there's not a book, but you do find some, it's kind of like a tapestry, but it's incomplete. And it's clearly like something that she's doing like lap style. Like you've seen looms in different places around Overton, and there's pretty big contraptions and there's smaller contraptions. This is definitely like a personal project sort of thing. Something you might make a small lap blanket or scarves on, or a bit of material that you would have to make multiples of to create a shirt or a dress or something out of. So it's
Okay.
not like a major piece of tool, but it looks like it has a really old project that has been very slowly added to. And you can see that it's a picture of a garden, but parts of the garden have woven into it a similar black thread, and it looks like they've been added over time.
Hmm.
Kind of looking at this piece, it stirs something in you that makes you wonder what exactly is going on, and it's a lot more emotional than a functional piece of material that's under creation here.
Yeah.
If you want to roll an insight check, I might be able to share more or not, but
Maybe 24.
oh, that's a good roll. That's a really good roll. Yeah. I think that like looking at this and trying to interpret it, and with the understanding that something happened with the hand, this looks like a piece that is a marking of time. And each of these black threads going through, they seem to turn what were living garden plants into necrotic plants that are dying or dead. And you get the sense that the creator of this views it as an allegory for what they're doing in their life.
Hmm. Hmm. She's interesting.
Yeah. Fawn, are you in this freaking room?
She's passed out. I'm assuming Fawn was here.
She was. She went in to wake her up, and then I think she threw a bucket of water on her and then disappeared.
Like, disappeared?
Yeah, like I can't find her.
Hmm. Can I just do like a no, like monk Spidey sense kind of thing?
You want to do like a
Like a-
perception check
Yes.
with your uber ears, trying to spot the missing brat child?
Just to see if I hear like breathing, slight shift in movement.
Okay.
16.
With a 16, you hear the wind whistling, you hear some birds outside, you hear the snoring now as Morella starting to go into a more natural sleep rather than the pass out that she was in.
Okay. I got nothing.
I don't know. I don't know if I should be. I don't know if I should be worried or if like she just
Well,
didn't come out again. I hope this lady didn't do something to her. I don't think she would do that. She seems nice.
I mean, did she say she saw Fawn?
No.
Did she seem like she did like? Did she have time to do something?
She kind of ran out here wet like someone threw a bucket of water on her. So
Okay, but it was like pretty immediate.
yes.
Okay, so all right. I mean, unless she did something she doesn't know about, I don't
I
think.
mean, maybe she went back to the bookshop while we were gone. I don't know.
Maybe. There's plenty of time. All right. Well, let's go check on Bonnie. She's probably hungry, and the cats are probably hungry and probably need to get cleaned out. I want to talk to. Well, I got to check in with Miss M because I'm something that guard said to me made me worried, and I don't know if we can leave anytime soon. I guess it depends on what's going on in the woods.
All right. I mean, I don't think those guards are coming back. Like, it was pretty messed up out there.
I mean, some of them may, some of them may not, but at the same time, like, we thought those other guards were going to stay, or at least I did. That was the impression that I got, is that there was, you said there was 5 good ones and they all cut and run.
Yeah. I mean, good is a subjective term, I guess.
So, I mean, I want to make sure that these people either know how to defend themselves or have people that can do it for them. So,
Hopefully your dad will come through and just send somebody.
well, one person isn't going to do much.
I mean, Nee helped probably as much as he's going to help, which, well, helpful at the time wasn't what I asked him to do, which was send help, not like be one-time help. So I don't.
Beggars can't be choosers, I guess.
Yeah. All right. So I guess we should go check on Monty again.
Yeah. Is the bookshop on the way?
No, you can make it on the
Is there like a
curve the path.
I'm just gonna like write in my journal, write thanks for your help. Like, let us know if you need anything, and then like put the money on top of the note, and then like leave it on her where she'll see it when she wakes up.
Okay, cool. Done. All right, so
Can we swing by the bookshop on the way back, see if Miss M's back from wherever she went?
See if Fauna's there.
Well, Miss M does the. Fawn's a little. Fawn can't necessarily help with what.
I just want to make sure she's okay.
Oh, well, yeah, that too.
okay, so yeah, you swing back by the bookshop. You get back to quite a scene. Sam, Vaughn, Brand, and a whole gaggle of people carrying things and working on the beast of a machine that's still parked right out front. And they all look like, actually, you recognize one of them as, do you recognize one of them? Yeah, you all saw the ship that came up that had Grant's brand on it.
Yeah.
You recognize one of them.
People they would get a discount if they helped got it unstuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You recognize one of them as the person who was kind of at the prow of the boat and was trying to gain attention. And that person's eyes alight when they see you, and they kind of immediately drop what they're doing and rush up to you. Oh, you're the kind. Are you local here? Wait, no, you're one of the ambassadors.
Yes.
Ah, yeah, he's a good guy, isn't he? Really takes care of us.
Okay. I mean, he hasn't been bad to us, I guess.
You're also one of the ambassadors. Ah.
Brand?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
He's very, very proactive at what he does.
Yeah, we're part of an expedition. It's really exciting. We're going north. We were where's your other people?
Well, one is recouping from a recent tangle with a very, 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 what we assume is very large spider. The other one is currently somewhere on the way to Canyonville, but we're not sure where.
Oh, she's on her way already. I'm so surprised you sent somebody ahead, but maybe that's good planning because that's what we're here to help you with.
We didn't. Someone took her, but she can send us messages in our brains. So, she can, I don't know, she every once in a while she talks to us in her head, and she let us know that she overheard them saying something about Canyonville, so we assume that's where they're headed. But we don't know how to get there, so we can't go rescue her yet.
Okay, well, we got to catch up maybe with drinks so that I can keep up, because you're definitely further ahead of me than I am.
Further ahead of you than you.
But we've got to...
The short version of that is
Job
she got
ahead.
kidnapped and they're taking her to Canyonville. So we have to catch up eventually. But we got stuck helping people in town.
In your head.
Yes.
Like a letter, except it you hear it. And we can send them back.
Letters. No, I don't have it. No. Later, drinks, and letters.
Okay.
Letters from
From home?
Overton?
Overton. Letters from Overton.
Can we...
Grand gave them to me. He'd forgotten when he saw you last.
Okay, and where are they now? That could help
They're
us.
back at our ship. I just put them in the locker so that I could.
Okay.
But
Can you go get those if I help fix this contraption?
I mean, sure, if you're insane and willing to work on one of his less intelligent I mean, if you would love to do that, that sounds like a great plan. And he starts pulling himself back together, and as he's pulling himself back together, you can feel like a shadow right behind you. Hey, sir, we're right on it. Your ambassador has agreed to help us out. I need to run and get some things to help him with that errand, and I will be right back. And he kind of like tries to make eye contact with the two of you, like.
And I mouth, go.
He turns and just starts walking, quick march.
Okay. So I've already looked at it. I'm gonna try to look and see what progress they've made, and then try to chip in.
Okay. What I would like to do is go on break, and give us a chance for stuff.
What the audience cannot see or hear is that my dog has been walking circles around the table, dropping gaseous, poisonous fumes on us. So,
speaking of poison,
she might need to go out.
Yes. Please enjoy this intermission brought to you by the letter M. No. Brought to you by me coming up with something else to fill in the time, which is campaign planning. It's kind of my process shared with you in case it's useful, and it may not be useful, but it helps, sort of, I think. Good luck. Hello, and welcome to this thingamabob. I am going to be talking with you about creating a campaign or a one-shot. And of course, my first bit of advice for this is to start small. One of the things that I feel like often happens is we get very excited about creating our campaign and we go kind of overboard. So the Atlan campaign that we're currently in is very much a campaign that started with a very small idea. And the small idea was what happens in a post-apocalyptic situation. What would cause magic to happen here on our world, Earth? And I loved the idea of the ancients being us. We are the ancients in Atland, and I love that. So that very small idea kind of grew and grew and grew and grew as I worked with my players that you get to meet all the time. The other component to that starting small thing is as you're going through sessions, and we're going to create a little one-shot together, keep a rule of 3 trio. When you have less than 3 options for your players, it feels like you're forcing them into situations. But if you have more than 3 options, there's this situation where player paralysis occurs. The players don't know what to choose for their characters. And I may have gone over 3 a couple of times just because of the situations that we're in. And you can tell that because then the players, as they recently have, kind of don't know which direction to go. And then they have to sort things out and kind of, it creates a paralysis situation. So it's better to try to keep to 3 options and no less than 3, because if you only have a couple, there's just kind of a rejection of those 3 options. So that trio rule really works well. The other thing that goes with this is to really build stories together is to build the world together. And we explicitly built our main city as a setting that allowed for the build out of everything else. And I am trying to use everything that the players share about their characters to further build things out. I will also query them about things like, what would you like to do? What's a situation that you would enjoy being in? What's an ability or an experience that would just feel awesome to you? And that collaborative world building is super, super important. I highly recommend folks to build together with their players and design their world together. It's a great space to be in. Now, you've kind of got a small base concept. You've got 3 structured areas or items for your one-shot or campaign, at least to start. And now you got to prepare some structures and the encounters that they're going to have. And an encounter does not have to be a fight. An encounter could be a social encounter that's got complexity and interesting roles with it. It could be a puzzle challenge of some sort or a mystery to solve. So preparing with your 3 options, some structures and or encounters that are all embedded together and kind of build up, that's something you need to have kind of ready to go on all 3 of those, just depending on where they're going to go. So having your 3 pieces ready is super important. However, at the same time that you're plotting out those 3 pieces, you also want to plot out what the end scenario would be depending on what they choose. And I just create a million stickies with prompts for me about how I think I could end things, and I utilize those to kind of sort stuff out. So, for example, I might have my 3 scenarios, and if they only finish one scenario in the time that we have for our session, I have an end sticky idea that relates to each of the 3 concepts or experiences that they could be having. If they're going to complete 2 of them, I might have a different idea on a sticky about how that consolidates. So I kind of create, based on the 3 different end solutions for the different things, including if they finish all 3 or if they don't finish anything. Because, especially in a one-shot, you want to have a place of finish, of completion. You don't want them to feel like they need to have another session when they've only signed up for a one-shot. It's really unfair to your players to create that space where they feel like, oh, we have to do another thing. Because they may not have the time or place for it, and then you've also left it unresolved. It's like reading a really good book, and then the author forgot the last 2 chapters. So we really need that ending space to feel satisfied. And that's not to say your ending space couldn't be a cliffhanger, and then later on you can say, hey, if you would like to, we could do a full campaign, and that cliffhanger could be like our launching point. But just, you know what I mean, right? The other piece with this is that I like to have leads or little connecting points between each of the 3 options that people have. Little reminders. And trust me, GMs, DMs of the world, future DMs and GMs of the world, they're going to miss like 99% of them. So you can push out a ton of hints and they will be missed. You can have planned a ton of hints and they can be missed. I just try to have things ready and just throw them out when I can. And sometimes they don't give me an opportunity to throw out little connecting pieces, but all your hints and subtle shares just may not work. So you might have to kind of force a space or force an item or force a concept in. Every once in a while you also have to rescue your players because maybe you've provided them too many options, or they've had such bad rolls that they aren't successful. So having a place to hook in something else that might be a component of a different situation and use that to resolve the one that they're currently in is a great way to play things. The other thing is that I think a lot of folks don't want to accept the expectations that players and people have because they think that that's not interesting. And honestly, it is interesting. It's very satisfying as a person to have your expectations met. So if I go in to an inn situation and there's this burly person talking to the patrons, making food, and I'm going in like with this idea of this big bartender's going to be friendly but also tough, and you suddenly make them a mouse, you've defeated my expectations. And it might be funny in a moment, but it can also be very detrimental and backfire on you. There are opportunities to have reversals like that make sense, but I highly recommend against those reversals and meet their expectations. It satisfies this innate need that people seem to have, and allows them to enjoy the storytelling, because the foreshadowing that they do in their own head as they build the story. Remember, this is the player's story. It's your setting, but it's the player's story. That's kind of one of my rules of thumb with this that I try to keep in mind, is might be my setting, but it's the player's story. And if I'm trying to delineate the narrative and creating a linear narrative of what their story is, I've stolen all the fun from them. But when you're doing this, there is the opportunity for what I just said, don't do, to do it, if that makes any sense. So yeah, you want to meet their expectations, except don't always meet their expectations. Occasionally, a little bit of misdirection or a plot reversal or a twist is fun. Just don't do it in a way that is prankish. That can really harm the narrative. Fooling players as a role-playing prank is just going to backfire. Your players are not going to be happy. However, having a twist that is fun, like maybe you have this scuzzy little creepy creature giving them a quest and hiding in shadows. They go and do the quest, perhaps. They come back with the funds that they found, and they are expecting this scuzzy creature to go into battle with them because they don't trust them, and then have that scuzzy creature, you are so kind. I can't do this, but would you please donate those funds to the orphanage? Your players can do whatever they want with that, but you've twisted this character now, and they're like, wait a second, we were all ready for this to be a bad situation, and this person was literally trying to get us to go get these funds to donate to an orphanage? That's a fun reversal. And then this person who's this scuzzy person might continue to exist and be a fun touch point in the future. So just, you can do the misdirection, the upset, the plot twists. They can be big ones. Just don't do it as a prank. Make it logical for the story, make it fun for the players, but don't prank people. It just doesn't work out well. On a bigger picture, as a GM or a DM, you don't have to make it all yourself. I make a lot of stuff because I enjoy making the things. I like making my minifigures. I like making maps. I love making up stories. I love creating monsters, but I don't always. There's things you can do where you just, you're not good at making maps. Go onto Google Maps, find a section of the world that you've never been to, clear out all the features, print that off. That could be a map of your location or your world. Go to a city that you really think is a cool layout for a city, print off the street setup of it, and then that's a beautiful map for the town that you're having them go to. You don't have to do all the work yourself. That also means that you can really tinker with other things as well. And what I would like to think of it is the GM or the DM is a remix artist, and you know what remixing is, hopefully, because you've heard people take bits and pieces of a song or a funny video and they remix it together to create a new song. And I definitely enjoyed that. We don't want to steal intellectual property, but using things that you have seen or can find and know that doesn't all have to come from your head. One of the things I really like to think about is I might read a novel and love the story. And so I might borrow the setting or one of the plot devices in that novel to apply to a game setting that I'm going to be doing. Now, I'm not saying steal it wholeheartedly. I've been in sessions where a DM has ripped something out of a video game or out of a book and used it full cloth. First of all, it ended up being too linear. I knew what to expect around every corner. And as a player, I ended up having to kind of sink into my character and just imagine how my character would react to each of these situations. But I myself wasn't having as much fun as I would have had with the discovery piece. And that's one of the big places of joy I find as a role player is the exploration, discovery, the surprises. And so, like, if I as a player know the story or the game that they're using, it's just not as exciting. Using the setting is totally fine, or using one of the characters from one of those is totally fine. I may not even figure that out, but when you steal whole cloth, it's really a disappointment to your players, especially if they're as geeky as you are and have already played that game or read that book or enjoyed that comic series. So avoid that situation. Not only is it unethical, and I feel like in many places illegal to steal things wholesale like that, even though you're not necessarily reselling it in any way, it's also just not fun for those who know what you're doing. So it's one of those things to just be aware of and take precautions to avoid getting into that situation. And I think that's going to end the section on my talk about the basic pieces. But what I want to do is I want to actually create a session with you all. And this is a session based on the upcoming holiday tomorrow, Cinco de Mayo. Very fun in America to celebrate this holiday, and that's kind of why I want to use this, because it's a really interesting holiday. There's a lot of times where holidays and events from other countries are appropriated by a different culture, but this was appropriated by members of Mexican descent, and it's a bigger holiday in America because of how it was taken and used than it is in Mexico. So Cinco de Mayo is a holiday, for those who don't know, it's not the 4th of July of Mexico. It's not their Independence Day. It is a celebration of a marvelous turning of events in terms of the war between Mexico and France, when Mexico was just a baby country. I mean, we're all baby countries over here in the North and South American areas compared to China's been around forever, and European countries, and these places that have been in existence for a long time because we're all post-colonial societies. But not getting off track with that, Cinco de Mayo is there was a general that was a Texan born, but of Mexican descent, indigenous Mexican descent, I think, Zaragoza, and he won a battle that he wasn't expected. There was 6,000 French troops, 2,000 Mexican troops in this battle. I think in Puebla. I'm probably not remembering things correctly, but just an amazing moment in the history. And we'll pull up some information just for background in a little bit, but it's celebrated in the state of Puebla or around that with military parades and other things like that. But it's not the huge cultural event that it's become in America. In America, activists in the 1960s, I think, brought back attention to Cinco de Mayo as a way to celebrate the cultures and customs in Mexico. And I say cultures and customs because different areas had different things and different beliefs. But now in America, it's dancing, it's music, it's so many things. And so I really enjoy that this is this strange holiday. And let's go ahead and just we're gonna play together really quickly. But we're just gonna go ahead and go down to the Wikipedia entry, which may not be exact and perfect in any way, but looking through this and reading very, very quickly, more popular in the United States than Mexico, which we just kind of shared. It is gained popularity in the 1980s because of advertising with beer, wine, and tequila companies. Okay, so that might be a piece that I play into this campaign. It's there's going to be some sort of fun piece with the drinking bit. The city of Puebla marks the event with various festivals and reenactments of the battle. Okay, so it's more of a commemoration, ceremonial, military parades. Okay, that makes a lot of sense there. So I could maybe have a military take on the campaign. We got the background of the events with the Second French Intervention in Mexico. So this was really interesting because I remember from my own history experience, Mexico basically declared that there was a president, Benito Juarez, I think. But he basically said we're broke, and Britain, Spain, and France were where the debts were owed, and I think memory is terrible, but Britain and Spain renegotiated and said, okay, we're solid, and France under Napoleon, which is an important point. It's Napoleon III, Napoleon, decided it would be really nice to grab Mexico and grow an empire. So there you have one of the three countries that owned the debt of Mexico, deciding, hey, we're going to go and mess around. This is right around the time of the American Civil War. So you got to keep in mind, the Union and the South were at odds. We were having our Civil War, so we weren't messing about in what's going on here. So the Mexican army amazingly beat the French army back. The numbers are different on every place that I've ever looked, but it was just basically a very poorly equipped Mexican army were led to a victory over the French. Huge morale boost for Mexico and Mexican people at large, and that's the important part, Mexican people at large. That meant Mexican people in America in the Civil War had this, oh wow, we are pretty good, and established that national pride and patriotism as Mexicans. And this is a general who I'm not going to be perfect about their descent, but under a president who was an indigenous president. So that's just these levels of things going on, which I could pull into a storytelling thing where like the modern group of people have their person on the throne of a small princedom, but they're being threatened from without, and the upset at that. Maybe there's storytelling going on, and there's a acting troupe that's performing this out, and that leads to issues of interpretation that are being found out, and there's going to be intrigue, so it could be a whole murder mystery too. Already I'm coming up with a few too many ideas here, which means I'm not being simple. Again, I think Chicano activists really brought it up into, and it says 1940s, so that's way earlier than I thought, but coming into vogue in the 1940s, in the rise of the Chicano movement, crossover from California to the United States in 50s and 60s. It didn't gain popularity until the 1980s. All right, so at any rate, this holiday, and we could read a ton more about it, and there's tons of other reference points, and I actually did go into a recognizing the significance of Cinco de Mayo because I was just really curious about what our government said about things, so I clicked into that, clicked into a few of these other ones. I also looked into some craft projects. I thought, what if there was like a crafting challenge or something like that? So then I come back to my checklist, and this is my checklist that I use for building a space. So Cinco de Mayo one shot seem reasonable? Yes, and I need to be conscious about cultural appropriation, but yes, this is a solid place for me to start. The campaign premise. And I think that this is where it gets a little bit dicey because I'm getting excited about the Cinco de Mayo component, but what is the premise of what's going on? And I think what I'm going to settle on right now is, because it feels like it's the more appropriate headspace for me, is that this is going to be set at a festival that's celebrating this successful battle event. And I think the problem is going to be, it's going to be in a small town, and I think the problem, the annual memorial of a battle that established the identity of the town, something like that. The problem is going to be that a group of players came in and misrepresented the battle. So performers misrepresented battle, and this set off a whole cascade of things. The tavern keepers rose up in protest, and we weren't able to get the drinks for the festival, and so we need to resolve that, or the mule team, or I don't know, somehow the drinks there will work that out in a little bit. So there's a delay for the festival goods. There's going to be a mystery on figuring out how the players went about this so wrong. What is the truth? Is the player's version the truth, or is the townspeople's version the truth? Maybe there's like a whole social story trying to find out where the truth is. So like kind of murder mystery style, trying to figure out where the records are that prove either the player's version correct or the town's version correct. And at the same time as all this is going on, there's a group of military people approaching, and it's causing alarm. And there are young people who are saying, "Oh, we're going to have another battle. It's going to be the reenactment in real life." So I got a trio of potential problems there, and I'm going to kind of work through those. And they all seem to spur from this increased sense of both anger and patriotism around the misrepresentation by the players that came to perform the event, and I might tinker with that a little bit more. The setting is this town, and I think I want it to be a town that is more modern in the world setting of whatever world setting I might stick this in. So since it's a D&D style thing, I'll just say that it's a modern magic town, like it'd be really cool if you're into the Faerun world. It'd be really cool. The town around Candlekeep, or the closest town to Candlekeep, they have access to this rich history and stuff, but that whole setting is really fun, and that this way they're not like some podunk town. These are people who have access to good information and records and everything like that. They have trade, so that really sets up a situation of like, these people are not foolish. These aren't people who are there to be bamboozled, and it creates a bit more of a dynamic between the character players and the other folk who are there, and this also creates a great space because maybe one of the player characters says that their background is performance, and so maybe they're part of this troupe, but another one says that their background is cloistered scholar, and they are from Candlekeep. So now like I can kind of tinker with these ideas, and I'm already seeing places where players could come in, and I might say, hey, here's some if you choose one of these backgrounds, I will grant you some extra things just because you're in a locality that plays to those things. Or I might say, hey, what background do you want to come from, and see if I can draw that into the setting. So the antagonist is a little bit more ephemeral, but for each of the three situations, one being just figuring out the record keeping, what is the truth. So the antagonist becomes discovering truth and where mysteries and secrets are kept. For the possible military incursion, the antagonist could be both the possible military incursion group and the townspeople who are getting riled up, young stalwarts wanting to go to battle. So I can already kind of figure out a little bit on the antagonist side of things. And the stakes. The stakes. I mean, this is a town's identity. This is throwing chaos into an otherwise peaceful town that is a major trade point between Candlekeep. You don't want a place that's at a major resource for the world to be in an uproar. So the stakes are that if they are unstable, intervention will come from Waterdeep, Candlekeep, or another major power, which means that the merchants are unhappy with the idea of intervention from either of those angles, because this has been a place of relative peace, and their festival and their celebration has been a point of great wealth for them, and so they're willing to pay out big bucks to get this resolved, however they get it resolved, and they can outline the three different issues. So that's kind of a fun idea. And then the deadline, it has to be solved by the end of the festival eve, because that's when the head person for the village says they're going to behead the writer of the story or something, or maybe not anything as gruesome as that. They're going to banish this player group if they can't prove truth to their version. Or something else along those lines, or the player troop plans to spread horrible rumors because of how their show was taken unless they're proven wrong. So that's like midnight deadline sort of fun there. And I might do the same thing with the oncoming army. Is going to arrive around that same point, or the next morning, and the other one, I need to think about that one a little bit. I would really like to have like a crafting challenge embedded in here as well, but maybe that's part of the denouement, where we take and have one of the resolutions, like a fun crafting challenge celebrating with the village, and that can be one of the closes. I think I can think through the three pieces. Maybe each of those could have a different, based on the interactions the players did. So I'm going to pull back up that crafting page on Wikipedia, and I'm going to go into these craft projects and try to think about which ones would fit the experiences. I need to get this book. That's probably a DMCA violation, so let's not go there. I need to go grab a book on Chicano crafts, traditional crafts, and see if I can pull enough information to make a realistic kind of roll off for 3 different situations that might occur. But already I've got kind of a plan built, and it's in, I think I talked for 10 minutes about the basics or the premise of what I do, maybe 15 minutes, and it's now 15 or so minutes later than that, and I'm already coming up with kind of the setup. Now I'm going to have to just figure out the hooks for this, and I've also defenestrated this enough from the spark point of Cinco de Mayo to feel like I'm not going to be engaging in a ton of cultural appropriation, but rather a tribute to Cinco de Mayo in the course of this campaign. I might run this by one of my friends just to make sure that they don't feel like I'm stepping on any toes and feet and stuff like that. And then I'm going to talk to the players about not using tropes that would be inappropriate or offensive, and just kind of do the tone setting around how to have care and love. So I love to do these little one-shot ideas based on upcoming events and holidays, and I think that this is a solid one that I could definitely use. Well, thank you for joining me for this intermission. I hope you have a lovely, lovely night, and we will get back to the show in 4, 3, 2, 1. Maybe. Gotcha.
Thank you for tuning in to Jason at Night.
Wasn't it last week we said we don't have an OnlyFans, we have an Only Andes?
Yes. Yes.
Andy fans.
Andy fans. This is the Andy fans portion of the show.
I would also like to
Tune into
point
the
out
live stream to see my nipple.
that
That's not true.
Alrighty.
Just the left one.
Jason at Night is just this.
Great.
Interjected by waking up every 7 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's just turned into the roast. All right. So we left off.
I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's like they want me to edit them out.
Oh no. Aw. Can I only turn?
It's not your turn to push the button.
We're linked weirdly, and we have to turn it on and off in weird ways. So it's like now we're both off. Now we're both on. Now we're both off because our side got linked up. It's really annoying.
fine.
No crunch.
He
for
has
you.
his own link.
I know.
Hello, it's me. I
Jason.
have my own link.
All right. So where we left off, the
I
two
was
of
over
you.
here alone with my own link. That's where we left off.
Rein it in. Rein it in.
All right, folks. I'm
ADHD,
done for
rein
the
it in.
night. I'm going home where it's safe.
It's never safe on Jason at night.
Last where we were out, I just gotta focus because these shenanigans are never ending. We were. I'm fine. Crunch, crunch. Thank you. Both of you were kind of like checking in on Bonnie, but also you were helping fix the machine. Can I just get from you another intelligence roll to see how successful you are in your endeavor as you collaborate with others? So because you are collaborating with others, you can roll with advantage.
Okay, good. Because that was a 2.
He's gone for days.
That is a 12.
All right, with the 12, I'm going to say that it probably takes you 5 or 6 hours and it's late night. Like not depth of the nights, but it's night by the time you are and the others are satisfied that it's functioning. You do get to enjoy one wild little short ride as you move the vehicle from where it's located to a more appropriate place.
I get to drive it.
Yes.
Yay.
God.
So you can decide how you describe that mini adventure all you want.
I feel like it's gonna be like the one time I in real life tried to actually drive a motorcycle, and it was like my brother-in-law's like 1200cc motorcycle, and I'd never ridden one, and I got on it and like I fired it up and I put it in gear, and then I jumped across the alley and hit a garbage can and shut it off. That's what Asher does with the contraption.
So it kind of leaps down the alley for a little bit, causes you panic, you shut it down, and then the others have to kind of like go and start it up and
Yes, and move it properly.
nice. That honestly sounds like me when I first had to do a manual transmission, and they wanted me to get gas at a gas station that had an uphill after a turn. And the person who was following behind me came right up to the bumper.
Oh no.
And it was my first time trying to, and the panic. I every time I kept rolling just a little bit further back, and I finally put the parking brake on, got out of the car, and said, "You move it. You're gonna keep sneaking up on me. You move it," causing me panic.
Real quick, my first learning to drive a stick story was I bought a car in 1999, 2000, something like that, from this guy I knew.
19.
$50. $50 for a car. That's what great shape this car was in. It was a Geo Metro, had like 300,000 miles on it. It was a stick shift, and I bought it from my buddy, but I didn't know how to drive a stick. So like he drove me to McDonald's on Central Entrance in Duluth, Minnesota, which is like up a hill. And then we got out of McDonald's, and he tossed me the keys. He said, "Okay, you're driving." And then I had to like go down this steep hill in the stick and like learn how to do gears and stuff. It was.
I mean, going down is
It's better than going up.
considerably
Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody back home where we're from, hi, you can sympathize. It would be like trying to drive up Seaman Avenue.
I grew up in mountains, so yeah, there's no.
I thought you grew up in the crater.
Oh, so
So I
scary.
learned how to drive a stick. It took about 5 minutes. I didn't have much of a choice.
Yeah, it's panic learning. All right, so that's Asher's event, and you went back to check on Bonnie, correct?
Yes.
Okay. You get back, and Bonnie's awake with 3 kittens clutched in her arms, sitting on her cart, wide-eyed, staring around.
Maybe we should have left a note.
Alone in a strange place.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Kittens go flying, and a small, but not smaller than you, individual just goes and clings to you.
Oh.
Where am I? What happened? Last thing I knew, you sent me to I'm never leaving you again.
What?
I don't walk away. And you're like smothered in her chest.
Well, I was just.
You can't leave me alone.
I didn't leave you alone.
I'm
You
not
were
cut
right
out for
behind
this.
me.
I'm not this person.
What? You did fine. You did fine.
I did fine. Where have I been? What's happening?
Well,
Why do I feel so gross?
Well, I'm not sure exactly what happened to you, but I could. Well, maybe you don't want to know where I found you. The good news is that you should be fine as far as we know. You were poisoned, but that seems to be a theme. I've been poisoned too, so hey, welcome to the club.
I don't like this club. It feels gross.
No, it's not a fun club. It's not one you try to join. But I'm really happy you're okay. We were really worried about you.
Okay.
Feel free to sleep as long as you want. Like don't.
No, I'm not sleeping again.
Well, not that kind of sleep. Just like rest. Like just take it easy. Don't push yourself.
Okay.
Okay. Have you eaten?
No.
Okay. I'm gonna go over to the fire and see.
I don't know if she's
You
gonna
end
like
up
what there is to
dragging
eat
her
here.
over as she just does not let go.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try to like squeeze it so like she's at least holding onto my arm. And I'm going to like go over to the fire and see if I can figure out what's either if the same thing is cooking as there was before.
Very much the same thing. It's another style and the same idea of a fish stew.
Okay, so I have an idea. I am going to take a bowl, and I'm just gonna kind of like just get like the broth doesn't feel like the right word, but like the liquid
chatter.
of the soup.
Okay.
And give that to her, so that she's not actually eating fish per se. And I'm not going to tell her. It's like if you just try some of this, see if it well, see if you like it, and then have some of that, and that might help you feel better.
Oh, that's awful.
Okay,
That
well,
tastes like when the catfish poop. Oh,
Okay,
wait,
well, you
is
don't
this
have to eat it.
food?
I mean, it's like a soup, but you don't have to eat it. We can figure out something else.
Oh, no, it's fine. I'm finding out I'm really hungry now, so I'm just gonna
I
eat
can go
it.
get no. I can go get something else. Don't. Okay.
No, you're not leaving.
I mean, you could come with, but
I don't think so.
okay. Just give me that then. Give me that, because I really would prefer you not to throw up. So I'm gonna set that aside, and I'm going to essentially drag her back over to the bed, and I'll sit down next to her, and
She's very clingy right now.
I'll grab her cat, and I will put him on her lap. I don't know if it's a him. I hold it up and I look to see if it's a him or her.
You've just assigned it sex, so you decide.
Hard to tell on cats.
Oh,
Still too young. I don't see any
tried to cop
identifiable
out.
features.
You copped out. It's gonna be the gender neutral kitty.
We'll figure it out eventually.
Great.
And I want to put it on her lap because until previously, she wasn't having a lot of luck with it. And so I'm going to put it on her lap, and I'm going to say, when I left, it was sleeping on your chest. So I know you don't think you're very good with it, but it is linked to you. So, and it was how we knew you weren't okay, because all of a sudden it wasn't okay, and it yeah. So just give it time.
She begins to like cautiously and carefully pet it, and the cat just starts purring.
I take out a little bit of bacon and I give it to it.
Just could see her just like kind of releasing some of the tension she's been carrying since whenever she woke up, and enjoying the cat.
Even if I'm not here, you're not alone.
Okay. I guess that means you have to go.
No, I mean, not specifically. If you want to stay and rest, I can stay with you. But Asher is, he was going back to the bookstore. You remember the guy with all the stuff and like the various colors and all of that?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So he's here.
Do you think he'd give me some stuff like you all have?
I hope so. I mean, I would assume so because you're part of our group. But we can look at that later. One of his employees has letters for us, so he was supposed to go. Was I there?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I was the letters. Okay. Sorry. You've been to the bookstore enough without me that I couldn't remember.
That's what we did right before. Then you would have left right after that.
Okay.
Yeah. He went to be a mechanic. You went to be a friend sitter.
Yes. I feel like rolling the 12 was accurate for the poet trying to be the mechanic. That's...
I mean, honestly, that's better than an average roll. So.
So then. So we're waiting for him to go get those. And Grand has this thing. It's like it's really loud and it has wheels. It kind of looks like a cart, but like not. But I guess it was broken. So I think Asher was trying to fix it so that they can move it. And that's where I left him.
Okay. I'm not sure I understand that, but okay. Okay.
So do you want to stay here for a bit? Do you want to come with? How you feeling?
I'll go with you.
Honestly, how are you feeling? Are you still tired?
Yeah.
Okay, then you should rest.
No, it's okay. I'll go with you. Or I can stay here.
I won't be mad at you, but I will be disappointed if you push yourself. Well, you're better to us fully rested.
Okay.
And the lady here is nice.
Do you know her name?
I don't remember it, but I'm awful with names.
Okay, well, I'll just...
We were also very, very tired when we first came here. So...
And even as she's talking to you, you can see her falling asleep. This, like, that whole, like, nodding off.
After, like, rubbing her back to kind of help it along.
Roll a persuasion check for sleepiness.
Actually?
No.
Okay.
She's going
I was ready.
Pass out if you're willing to stick around enough to help her ease into it, yeah.
Yeah.
And she's conked out.
And I'm gonna put the
she has
cat.
3 levels of exhaustion, so
that bitch.
Well, good thing she ate something.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit.
And it's a soup, so it's food and drink.
Every little bit helps.
I'm just saying, I think it requires food and drink to get rid of an exhaustion point. So,
the secret of soup. All right. So what I want to ask now is, the two of you have kind of indicated that you're going to stick around town for a little bit to help the folks out. Before the next big infusion of people occurs will be about a week in game time. So is there anything your characters would do during that time? And this can be things that you'd be doing for your personal character growth. It could be things for, maybe you're going to create something. But I do have a couple of little things that I'll be running for this, but consider what you might have going on for your character and what might be things that they would get up to during this period of time.
So in the interest of not like abandoning our party member entirely, I'm going to say that Asher paid two of Grand's guys to go to Canyonville and try to find out where Tanzanite is, like
Okay.
ahead of them.
So I'll say this is that you go to negotiate with Grand's people, intent on sending them ahead to help with the situation, and are quickly informed that they've already sent scouts ahead.
Okay.
So their purpose in the sending the scouts is less specific to Tanzanite, but they have been informed to look for her. But it sounds like that Grand is, and I think you garner this pretty quickly. Don't even need to roll for this. That, and he's pretty transparent about it. But Grand and his lieutenant are both very intent on completing a trading mission that they view you and your team as the captains of, and that they're there to support it. But they're already putting things in place and pushing things forward. So at least in that first effort, you feel like something is happening. Anything else that you would have Asher do during this week?
I guess he'll probably like get some rest, like work on his poems, like maybe go through the older books in the bookshop more, trying not to break them.
What is
If she'll still let him look at them. Maybe he'll help her like transcribe some of those like he was doing before.
okay? So spending some time in research and study.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And what, in general or in detail, would Trixie be up to?
First thing that I would do would be to go and check on Merida, just to make sure like that she did eventually wake up.
Yes. So
Um
you probably catch her on the way to another emergency
Yeah.
of some sort.
Yeah, I wouldn't try to necessarily talk to her, but yeah. Then the next thing I would have done would be to speak a little to some of the people that I had like met in town, and ask them to spread the word that if anybody is interested in at least learning how to defend themselves, that every morning I will be getting up and going through like the training routines that my dad taught me, and that I would be happy to teach them to anybody who was willing to learn, in case there are any guards, or if anybody starts to start trouble. Just like, like I'm not trying to form a new guard force or anything. I just want people to feel like they, better, more confident about being able to defend their own town.
To bookend the morning, the morning activities, every evening there's a poetry reading in the newly freed town square.
Okay. I need you to roll a persuasion check to see if you're able to garner recruits, and I need you to roll a performance check to see if whatever happens.
I really wanted that nat 20, but I've been very lucky on those in these situations, but it didn't come.
10.
16.
Okay. It's a slow trickle for the martial training, but you do gain a few students. Notably, some of the kids come first, and then as the children receive training, you find out that one of the reasons why a lot of folks don't come is because they all have early morning work. The fishing happens early, the farming happens early, and this isn't a town that can sustain that. But you do get young folk who show up. For the evening performances, people are tired, but entertainment is sparse. And so you do end up drawing in a crowd and get a chance to show off some of your poetic success. I think between both of these public events, a couple other things are also happening. Can both of you just roll a straight D12? We'll see.
8.
8.
one. I know.
Well, that's actually kind of cool because when I wrote the table for this, you get tragic news.
Oh no.
You find out that, and how Trixie reacts to this is not attached to anything, but you find out that 4 of the guard that were considered the more helpful guard were found dead in an alleyway the night after the other guards were removed, stabbed in the back with a single dagger each. The woman was not found, and the townspeople have decided that it was her that did it. And they have decided that they are going to write it off as better done this way than any other way. And you also gain an understanding that while some of the townfolk appreciated their interventions, most of them reviled them for it.
The guards?
Yeah. These guards were unlikely to survive. And a lot of people said, oh, it's not unexpected. There were a lot of folk who wanted to kill them. And you probably, over the course of hearing things through the week, come to understand that despite their efforts to shield or create, they were not successful in winning over the townsfolk to that viewpoint, and were a primary target for a lot of the wrath of the townsfolk. In fact, roll a d6. 4 or higher, and you find out about this, and 3 or less, and you never find out about this. Okay.
Wah, 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 wah.
Cool.
So close.
Speaking of
Great.
news, did we ever get our letters?
Yes, and I'll get to that
Yeah.
kind of
Okay.
as the end of this
I'm
thing.
assuming that will spur our next spur our next action.
You, with the performances and garnering all this attention, but also with the research and study, you start to see where things like your unseen servant.
We're distracted by the fact that the dog is just kind of
Wackadoo. Your unseen servant is, as you know, you can do a ritual summoning of it that takes about 10 minutes. Still requires all the things you need to summon it, but it's a 10-minute summoning. And as you're kind of doing this research and study and everything, you realize that there's other things that might have the same capacity. And it's an area that might be of interest and use should you decide to pursue it. And it may be where Nee gets most of his more involved processes from. At any rate, you do get those letters in the beginning of the week, and this may change some of the things that you do. But what those letters say, for the most part, is the Canyonville situation from Nee's point of view that you, in the letter you get, is very much a high priority for Nee. And part of the reason why he intervened in the way he did is because he really needs you to move on that. He fears something happening. The letter you get, which is why you kind of stick around for a week, says that the troops are a week out. And your father, it's very clearly your father's writing, though he does not sign it off as himself, indicates that a couple of people who trained you in the past will be part of the group. So you know that a couple of mentors are also coming along in this crew, which may be an opportunity or maybe
One of them is a giant panda.
maybe a problem. And you also, in your note, have a little address from your mother. You can tell it's your mother, but she also doesn't sign it as herself. But the gist of it is, be careful in Canyonville. it's where our people left. And it's kind of like a not clear about what to be careful of so much as it's kind of you've dealt with this with your mom in the past, especially when she was training you on something. She didn't want to prejudice you, so she left you to figure it out on your own. It's not always an appreciated experience. It's an annoying thing, especially when a direct answer might be better. But then again, now that you've been more autonomous recently, sometimes you just didn't care for the direct answer anyway, so maybe she knows you better than she should. But in the course of the week, you do have to deal with a couple of things. One of them is an incursion of bandits. About 4 days in, some of the former guards members try to assault the village in the middle of the night.
So they did live.
What do you do?
I told you.
Are they riding spiders?
Yes. Now suddenly they
Then
are
we flee.
arachnid riding.
If they're riding giant spiders, we run.
It's bandits in the wood.
Bandits?
Bandits in the woods. So
I would have.
I want to know what you would have done in preparation for this possible incursion, if anything.
Well, was there any like warning? That's the only thing I could think of is that maybe I would have encouraged some sort of like neighborhood watch, or like the townspeople taking turns doing patrols, so that if everybody can.
Like watchers
Would
on the
you
walls.
have been behind that?
Yeah.
Okay, so what I'll say is that you can either roll separately, or one of you can roll with advantage a persuasion check to see if you're able to convince the townspeople to do this.
Hey, face.
Time to do your job.
Dirty 21.
Awesome. So it's kind of lax in the early wee hours of the morning because that's when everybody goes to work. But there does get to be a place where a shift of volunteers, for the most part, are watching the walls. Folks who have to work early in the morning don't tend to make it up. So it ends up being, for the most part, older and young folk. But they do.
If that's like the weakest shift, I think Asher will probably join them.
Okay.
Because he stays up later and sleeps in later anyway when he can. So.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so that works. Let me just really quickly put this back together because I deleted it all.
Womp, 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 womp.
I didn't think you'd make it.
You didn't think we'd make it?
Hey, Rurik. Is that guard still walking?
Somebody else roll a d20. I want this dude out of it.
That's a 4.
Yeah, nope, he's still walking.
He's got to be there by now. Like, we're halfway through a week. 7 days or something to get to...
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe he got lost along the way?
He might have, like, been killed trying to kill the mayor by now.
I mean,
Awful.
Although he wasn't going to kill the mayor. He was going to tell the mayor off. I don't remember exactly about what now.
it's been a while. All right.
Since I could say
Make him away.
I wasn't addicted to this game.
Okay, so early in the morning, you hear an alarm that is basically a series of villagers shouting out.
And maybe Asher's drum. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah,
The
if you would have
drums
donated
of
to them, yeah,
war.
that makes sense.
Well, if he was on shift. If it was like the shift that he's on.
Yeah. Okay, so let me put that in there, and then doot 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 doot.
Boing.
We've been
Boing.
attacked by Mario. 2 plumbers come out of the woods.
So what I would like you to do is roll initiative,
We.
and we will treat this as initiative order situation.
It's going to be a bad fight. My blue dice don't like me today. 7.
7 for Asher. Trixie, what'd you get?
Trixie Hobbit.
Sorry. What? Sorry. Got distracted.
Initiative.
Yes.
Ooh.
You're still asleep.
So, yeah, well, this...
I dream about drums.
Your kung fu drum routine.
All right. Doodly-doo.
A little bit of stereotype.
All right, so I think for both of you, there's a bit of a pause in terms of finding out more. You've been getting up really early in the morning, so you go to bed a little bit earlier. And for you, you're not far from the wall when you hear your own drum going off, but you were in the middle of your poetry recitation. So it's
Also, it's like evening.
It's evening time, and that's when the alarm goes out, and you hear whacking of the walls and screams, as not screams of pain yet, but screams of fear and screams of kind of bloodlust. So that goes through all of them.
The time for my Xena call has come. No, I won't.
And
Very, very loud.
let's see. Good grief. How many? Okay. Oh, Tanzanite. Tanzanite, not Tanzanite. Brain dead. Bonnie. Bonnie comes over and shakes you awake.
Did she get her outfit from Grand? It's been 4 days.
I'd say, yeah, she's got like a basic setup. She doesn't like a lot of the traditional clothing, so she like rips off different sections that don't exactly make sense to other people. Like where it has a collar, she's like, this is annoying. So there's no collars for her, and other bits and pieces that are just like, well, that kind of ruins the purpose of trousers to not have the bottom half. You should have just gone with the shorts, but she didn't like the shorts being as high as they were, so she ripped it off just exactly at the knee, so they end up looking
So
a little...
she's like a 90s kid.
Yeah, she's goofy.
Okay.
She's goofy looking. She's also got a plaid shirt tied around her waist that has Grant's brand written on it, so she's like a Seattle grunge punk 90s kid.
Does she have a backwards baseball cap on?
With skateboard.
So you're shaken awake by Tanzanite. She's using her turn.
Bonnie.
Bonnie. She's using her turn to bump you up in initiative so you'll be able to respond quicker.
Huh?
She.
Oh, fuck. Okay.
So hold on, because in the next you'll be right after Asher.
Okay.
Asher, you are probably 60 feet from the wall where all the noises are happening. You're not far.
Okay. I will sprint in that direction.
All right. So
I get 30 feet. So I can get halfway there.
and then you're sprinting, so you're using your action to get all the way there.
I'm like running.
Okay.
Or what? Wait.
So you have movement, and you can use your action to double your movement.
Oh, okay. Then I'll do that.
Okay. So yeah, you have a bonus action available, but you get to the wall and you can see the townspeople are actually not doing terribly at holding off what looks to be about 20 bandits that were former guards people. They look a little rough. They look definitely rougher than they already looked, which was already pretty rough. These look like people who did not enjoy their camp out in the woods.
Poor babies. Maybe you shouldn't have been assholes.
All right. So, are you going to do anything with your bonus action?
Is anybody like hurt yet from the townspeople side?
Nobody appears to be hurt. A bunch of people kind of ran off below the wall, and they look just afraid.
Who's like the biggest, strongest person on the townspeople side?
There's a individual who you actually know from staying in the fishing people's place as one of the. They're not a fishing person; they're a barge captain, but they're robust. They very clearly provide a lot of the manpower for their own barge going back and forth, and they seem to be. They're one of the few people who really took on ownership of the idea of watching the town's walls.
I'm gonna yell, "Try and try again." Someone famous said that once. No, it wasn't me. I'm gonna cast Bardic Inspiration on that person.
Awesome. Cool. That takes us to you in initiative order.
Move. Dash. Step of the wind.
Okay, that's probably enough to get you within like fishing people. Let's use so probably like I would say probably like really close, not close enough to like physically engage, but you can see the top of the wall. In your next turn, you could probably get up there if you wanted to, or you could do something else.
Actually, is there a way to go and like maybe try to sneak up behind them?
You'd have to go out and around over the wall, so like you're more circling to get around. Yeah, I mean you.
My concern is I don't. How high is the wall?
It's not terribly high. It's a two typically sized humans high.
Okay, never mind. I'm gonna go. I will go. I will continue to go up the wall.
Okay, so yeah, within your regular move in the next turn, you'll be able to get up to the top of the wall. So after you inspire this captain, he seems to grow a bit taller in that moment. Even you can see him from down at the base of the wall. And he takes his oar, which he's been using as a weapon, and he just starts whacking down below. And you see the mode of potential that's been circling over his head just burst in a bit of starburst, and you hear two solid thwacks that sound like melons breaking open.
Oy.
Other townsfolk are also battling, but you see one take a hit to the chest, a blade handle sticking out. They fall back and they crash. You see another one chucked down with a makeshift spear and then get tugged with the spear over the wall. It's kind of a mess there. It's kind of a, with the exception of the barge captain, townspeople aren't doing so hot and they could really use some help. That takes us to Bonnie, who comes up, and by this point she's not even close to being where you're at, but she's running behind you, and you can hear her going, "What can I do? What can I do?" from back quite a distance.
Take care of the wounded.
Got it. All right. That takes us to Asher.
Is there, like, they're attacking the wall, like they're breaking the wall?
They're trying to get up and over the wall, and the townspeople are trying to thwart that, from what you can tell in your position up at this space.
Okay, like what is around in terms of like, is there like farming equipment or?
The villagers that are up on the wall right now have a ramshackle array of both farming equipment turned to weaponry and fishing tackle turned to weaponry. There's one of them using a net, and it appears that they have attached a ton of hooks to that net. Whether that is the natural use of that net or a clever recreation of it for a more martial use is hard to tell. There's somebody with, your quintessential pitchfork. It's one person with a scythe trying to reap, and some various other materials and implements of that sort. Nothing of a traditional weaponry nature, but very much the tools that these people are used to using turned to a more violent option.
Okay. And like, what's down on the ground, like among the, like, okay, am I on the wall or am I?
You're on the wall by now, because I said you with your regular movement you could be up there if you
Okay.
chose to.
And there's people like down on the bottom, like fighting.
That's where the former guards people are, and they're all kind of like trying to get up and over using more martial weapons, but also just climbing over. It's 2 people high. It's not impossible for them to scale. So that's what they're trying to do. Okay. The gate seems to be unavailable to them, and they seem to be avoiding the water.
Okay. Around me, like crates, wagons, boxes.
Nothing at the wall, but back far enough away, closer to where the pier and such are, there is some crates. There's one Roll a perception check.
You wanted him to do a Bard of Creation.
I just know what he's about
12.
to do. Well, yeah, you can see some crates of medium size that people have been picking up and moving around. Nothing bigger than that over there. You can see the wall. You can see where the doors of the wall are, and those are fairly large. But yeah, there's some crates back there.
Maybe we'll hold off on that for now. Who's the closest bad guy to me?
There's a whole bunch of bandits that are just down below. There's two bandits who are no longer moving. Their heads seem to have been split open by a large oar. There is a townsperson who is dragged over the side who is being assaulted with weaponry.
Okay. Whoever the person that's grabbing the townsperson,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say, if I had that face, I wouldn't go in public. You're just so damn brave. I'm gonna cast vicious mockery.
All right, roll the. I have to roll the save, don't I?
Oh,
Oh my god.
rough.
Let me roll the save. For
Wisdom
this
15.
dude. Wisdom 15. Oh man, this is gonna be bad because they do not have wisdom. Ooh, they rolled a 4 total.
Woof.
That is 6 psychic damage.
Okay, they take 6. You can see like it whips them around. They look up to you, and it's like their eyes just go blood red with the pain of what was just done to them, as the magical component or the mystic component of your mocking words just causes them to start bleeding from the nose, and they look like they are not happy. They're also confused about how that happened. And the barge captain standing next to you kind of looks over at you like just confusion written clear across his face until he looks down and sees the person bleeding from the nose, and then he looks at you again and his eyes go wide and he kind of takes a step back from you.
And then, who's the nearest not dead, injured villager?
The individual who got dragged over is still alive and breathing and trying to fight back, but they definitely have a couple of stab wounds. The individual with the dagger sticking out of their chest is not breathing.
They're dead? Okay. So the one that's being dragged, I'm going to say, you don't look so good. Have some healing poetry to make you feel well. I'm going to cast Healing Word.
He just did the whole cantrip and spell perfectly.
5.
All right, cool. That brings them back up a bit, which is good. That actually brings them to full because commoners don't have much.
Right.
All right. That takes us to you.
I am going to get to the edge of the wall. I'm going to do a quick assessment of like who I kind of view as the most lethal person down there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to take 3 steps back, and then I'm going to jump on that person.
Okay.
With the intent to, like, at least land on them to like...
Could you roll an acrobatics?
Yeah.
Just to see how successful. I guess that's... Yeah, acrobatics to land on them.
Yeah, like, I'm specifically, like, trying to somersault and pick up...
Yeah, I mean, it would be athletics if it was a little less precise of landing on someone. If it was just jumping, it would be just...
21?
That hits.
I mean, I'm not... I guess...
So you're jumping from...
I would be fine with that technically being considered...
You don't take damage, but they are taking damage from an object falling on them. So they take 2 points of damage, and I think I'm going to have them do a strength saving throw to see if they remain standing. They do... What would you roll total?
21.
Okay. Oh, they get knocked prone.
Hey!
So you've jumped on, smashed, and knocked them to the ground.
Good.
Okay, so that's one more that's currently down, if not out. Bonus action.
Can I reach the villager that was stabbed? No, they're back up at full. Okay. Bonus action. I don't think. Can I do it? I guess. Sorry. If I do. Sorry. My bonus action. Can I do bonus action unarmed strike if I haven't done a strike in the first thing?
I don't think so, unless you have some special one. What does it say?
Oh, it says, yeah, when you attack,
Yeah, you have to have
can
done
use
an
an
attack.
unarmed attack as a bonus action.
I
Okay.
mean, I guess technically your jump was kind of an attack.
Yeah, but it wasn't, like, technically my action
Wasn't
was to
an-
jump.
Yeah.
That's fine. Okay.
And you did knock them prone, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so that takes us back to the top, which is the villagers and the bandits back and forth. It's a bit of a repeat of the same. This time only one melon pops. But the again, another villager goes down, and now there's only 3 villagers on the wall and the 2 of you. And it's this back and forth has been pretty rough for the people of the town. But you can hear off in the distance additional voices coming as
From
things
the town or the...
from back in the town. However, 4 bandits are able to make it to the top of the wall. And
how many are still down?
Go ahead and roll a perception check.
14.
You can see at a quick glance and guess with the ones down, it looks like there's about 15 total,
Okay.
and 4 of them are on the wall.
Okay.
There's bodies down there as well, which were previously known as bandits until Watermelon
Formerly
Smacker
known
happened.
Got it.
Formerly known as living creatures. With that back and forth, you see Bonnie finally make it to the base of the wall, and she immediately begins checking the villagers with the blades in their chest, and she's just shaking her head down there. And as she's shaking her head, you hear her curse, which is a new thing for her, but she's been spending the week with a bunch of fishing people and has picked up a thing or two.
Love it. Love
And
it.
her hand shoots at the wall, and from the wall erupts a group of vines that whips up and smacks one of the bandits that's on the wall and wraps around his throat for a bit and squeezes tight before withering away. And as it withers away, you see it transform from a thorn whip into seaweed. And the bandit that was at the top of the wall topples backwards to the ground behind and then begins scrambling on hands and knees back away from the wall.
Can I use a free action to yell?
Sure.
I'm just gonna go, "Atta girl!"
Awesome. All right. That takes us to you.
The villager with the net with the needles, are they still around?
Yes, they're one of the remaining ones that has a net with a bunch of fish hooks in it.
I will look to the nearest villager, or not villager, bandit. I want to say pirate for some reason.
Pirates. Land pirates.
I'm going to say, was your mom a thief? Because she stole my poor heart. I'm your real daddy. Vicious mockery.
Oh.
Roll and save. Oh, 17. Does that...
Son of a bitch.
Okay, so like this one just looks at you. My mama ain't no. No, you're too young. And their confusion just kind of like shows their lack of intelligence, and they kind of just don't get the joke, and or the mockery. In fact, you can see they're just not able to process it, and that's why it just slides off of them.
Okay. Is that any other villagers about to drop near me?
Not currently. The ones that haven't died seem to be fine. There are ones that are close to being imperiled in some way, but there's nobody who's currently low on health.
Okay.
It seems like when people get in hits, it's pretty quick.
Come on, where'd you go? My bonus action, I will say, never surrender. Giving up is no option. Stand your ground and fight. And cast Bardic Inspiration on Trixie.
Okay. Great, Trixie, you're up now. You are inspired and up. And sitting on the head of somebody who you just knocked down.
Yeah, I'm gonna I would assume it would be like one of those where like I land essentially like on his shoulders. Sorry, I feel like I'm yelling, so I feel like it's one of those things where like I essentially like and like he catches me with his chest. And so I am going to take one swing at him. I want to knock him unconscious, so I'm really like trying to aim hard.
Roll your attack.
I think that's a 13.
Fun fact: bandits have very little armor class. You hit.
Okay.
Just hit.
Okay.
You hit.
That is 7 damage. Is he still
in combination with the other things? This one is knocked unconscious.
Okay. At which point I'm going to use half my movement to get up. I would like to draw my shovel. If you want to call that a bonus action, I'm fine with it.
I feel like your shovel is a natural part of you, and it seems if you had something else that you were switching out to, that might require the bonus action, but your shovel is your go-to.
Okay. So
I assume you would have prepped it as you went.
Yeah, so I draw my shovel, and I am going to, I can't remember the character's name in Rogue One, the blind guy. I'm just going to start
May the Fourth be with you.
Yep. And it is May the
I'm one
Fourth.
with the Force. The Force is with me.
So, the Force is with me. Shout out to all the
This is
Star
your
Wars
second
fans.
attack?
Yes.
Okay.
So at this point, I am just swinging at any body I see.
Okay, they're close, so easy enough done.
15? Yeah.
Hits.
15. 5 points. And I.
That first hit just kind of knocks him for a loop.
I'm gonna do one of those like swing back arounds and go for the other direction.
Okay.
Come at him from the other side. That's a 24.
That hits.
You are not doing very well, so let's go with you. Ooh.
Damage.
That's 7 points of bludgeoning.
And is your goal unconscious or dead?
Oh wait, so hold on. So sorry, the second one was the first swing, and then I would have done flurry of blows, so I would have gotten 2 more.
Okay, you already knocked him out with the first 2 hits here.
Well, no, the first hit was the guy
first hit was the
ground.
First hit was the guy on the ground. Then your second attack, you hit the guy with your. So now you're doing a flurry of blows.
Right, so it would only be the first of the 2
That's
attacks.
the first of your flurry of blows. You've knocked this person out.
Okay, and so then
or
I
killed
would
them,
go
whichever way you're
swing
choosing.
at another person for the very last one.
Okay.
Okay, sorry.
The whirling dervish of a squirrel.
I
feel like you're more like the raccoon character on. Oh no. Gone. Don't remember.
Oh,
Lost.
I was thinking Tasmanian Devil.
Okay, that works.
No.
Oh god.
That is a 16.
Hits.
9 plus 7.
What was the attack? Damage, I mean.
5.
Okay, you
5
definitely
points.
smack this guy, making him see stars for a second. All right, is that the end of your turn?
Yes.
Sweet. Back to the top. Villagers versus bandits. And in this situation, now that you're in the milieu,
Round 3.
and seeing one of their compatriots fall, 3 of the bandits turn towards you and go for attacks.
Right.
Okay, so the first one is going to try to take they have like a thin scimitar. They're going to try to hit you with that. Does a 23 hit?
Yes.
This one is not exactly a nice person. So you take 3 points of damage.
All right.
The second bandit tries to swing at you and does a 12 hit.
No.
Miss. Whoosh, bad aim. Bad day for that one. And then the third one takes their turn and does a 13 hit.
No.
So 1 slashed, it just gets you. And then 2 flailed fails. And as those flailed fails happen, you see 2 behind them pull up small crossbows. And they appear to be aiming at the wall. They're actually aiming at you, Asher. And
row.
they are going to... Wrong button. Does a 6 hit? I'm guessing no.
I'm dead.
Okay. Does a 18 hit?
Yes.
Okay. You are going to take... Gosh dang it, that's not even funny.
Is there like
4 points of crossbow bolt damage as it kind of hits you, and it's not very exciting. At the same time as that's happening, you see
How you bruise me with your crossbow?
an additional 1, 2, 3. You see 5 other crossbolts fly up, 2 hitting the barge captain, shoulder and shoulder, and he kind of grunts and falls back for a second, but brings himself up, bleeding heavily from both wounds. Oars now broken in half, but still swinging them around like wild. But he definitely looks like he's already gone significantly paler, and that these are serious wounds for this individual. The other villagers do pretty well in this moment, and you see the fishhook catch up on one of the bandits, yanks it back, and just furrows of blood form everywhere, and the former guard person collapses dead. And it's gross. And I'm trying to think about it, even though I just designed this and I'm grossed out by it. All right. That takes us to Bonnie, who is very distracted by the gore. And she is going to
Vomit. Use her action to vomit all over the ground.
Action to vomit. She is going to
It's better than fainting.
use her thorn whip again. And yeah, you hear that, and the standoff between the remaining 3 guards on the wall becomes a standoff with the 2 remaining former guards on the wall.
Oh my God,
as this one just gets yeeted right off. So, nat 20s are fun.
Yay, Bonnie! Good for her.
She's got to have a comeback story after all the garbage she's been doing. She's been kind of a dead weight for a while here. So that takes us to you. What are you up to, Asher?
I'm going to say, wait, she's got 2 facing her, or 1 facing me, 1 facing her.
You got...
I also still have bardic inspiration.
So, the one that used to be the center one, before I'm assuming one of the ones on the side got yeeted off. I'm going to say, I'm not a blacksmith, but I have this big anvil right over your head, and I'm going to use performance of creation to create a large size anvil over the person's head.
Does it say Acme on it?
What's the weight of the anvil?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's weight, and I just want to know how big this thing is, so I can roll damage appropriately.
Acme.
Just says maximum value 140 gold pieces. Maximum size is what level are we?
You're at level 7.
Okay, so large. Doesn't say weight.
Okay, so 140 gold pieces anvil has got to be
Okay,
pretty
let's
big,
say,
and I'm just imagining this
how
huge
much
thing coming
does
down.
an anvil weigh?
Throw on double the weight of whatever it is.
It says 7 to 200 pounds.
Shit. Yeah, so this
Split the diff.
400 pound.
400 pound? Oh, because it's large. Got it.
Yeah, large. It's an over. This is
It's
like a
an
giant anvil. If
oversized
it's large, a large object is
Rurik
huge.
knows exactly why I made it large too.
Mass cost. Yes, and it just comes
Assuming there's another turn.
boom, and there is no more guard where that anvil landed.
Gross.
There's a very nervous looking townsperson who is currently fending off that individual, who's just staring down, and then looks up and makes eye contact with you for a second, and slowly backs away.
I would too.
All right. That takes us to
Yeah,
Trixie.
bonus
Unless
action.
you- bonus action.
I'm going to say, are you feeling well? These words of wisdom may help. Try not to drop dead. And I'm going to heal the captain that was...
Oh, you're using
or
healing
the-
word.
Yeah.
Yeah. So roll the heal, roll the health, roll the points.
Roll those things.
Roll.
That is 6.
Oh, cool.
For 6.
So almost in Suta with you, he takes one of the crossbow bolts from the meaty part of his chest and yanks it out. And as he yanks it out, you can just see the flesh knitting back together as he kind of matches time with you. And he's going to use his action on his turn to do that. Cool. What are you up to?
I'm still Babe Ruthin and swinging away.
Okay. Roll your attacks on. I mean, you're kind of in the milieu down below the wall with people around you.
Yeah, I'm just. If monks could rage, it would essentially be this. Like, I'm just zeroed in. I'm just looking for, like, essentially target sections of bodies.
Has anyone ever seen Hoodwinked? The squirrel when it has the coffee. I'm just picturing it as a fighting
Are you
monk
thinking
version.
Over the Hedge?
No, Hoodwinked.
Oh, okay. Because in Over the Hedge, I think the squirrel has an energy drink, and literally, like, time stops.
I think it's the same theme.
Same idea.
Same idea, different movie.
Oh,
Swing away, Meryl.
that's only an 11. I
Oh, that
miss.
misses.
Next one. That's a 17.
Hits.
Okay. So I've got 2 down. I'm working on a third one. That's 9 points. Nine points of damage.
9. This one goes down.
Okay.
Unconscious or dead?
What am I aiming for?
Yeah, are you going for unconsciousness or death?
Murder.
Rage squirrel
I
or
feel like if we don't kill them, they're just going to come back. Which is why I crushed one with an anvil.
We'll see. I'm not killing them yet.
okay, unconscious.
Okay, and then the next, so that was 2, so then I'll do another Fury of Blows. Sorry, I need to go.
Flurry of blows.
So I don't, but unarmed strike isn't a key point, right? It doesn't say.
A regular unarmed
Unarmed strike is an action, and then you could use.
No, unarmed strike is the
Bonus action.
Oh,
Yeah, the key
it's
point
not a
is if
key
you do
point.
flurry of blows. Flurry of blows is like hit, whereas
Right.
unarmed strike is just
Okay,
a
so
hit.
I have used 1 key point so far because I did the Flurry of Blows.
And you used one
um,
earlier from your Healy Touchy.
Right. Sorry, I just meant in terms of this particular
Yeah.
set.
and you step of the wind
Oh, yeah.
when you were running.
Okay, so I'm down 3. Okay, so I'll just keep doing Flurry of Blows until I run out, I guess. Whoop!
Just
Son
keep
of a
boxing
biscuit.
him about the face and head until he dies.
I'll just use another
Can you
one.
roll both attacks just so we can
That's 14.
hits?
26.
Hits. Roll the damages.
1 is 5 points and 1 is 9 points.
Yes, you take out another
Okay.
individual.
So 4 down. There was 15 total. 3 crossed on the wall.
One didn't survive their cross on the wall.
Okay.
how many is that left?
Well, there was 15 total.
Man.
I've taken out 4, so that's 11. And then there were 4 on the wall.
-2.
So there's 9 left? Okay.
Well, one just got thrown off the wall. Did he? Is
And
he
was
unconscious?
scrambling back in his, like, roll a perception check if you want to try to
I
figure
can
out
do
if
a
you can track,
retroactive. Or at least
where
would
they
have
went.
seen
Just to see if
dirty 20.
they were piecing out.
Okay. All right.
That was a runaway.
Okay.
All right.
But I'm not moving or anything. I'm gonna stay.
You're going to
Stay
stay
in the
in.
fray!
May you. So bandit villager shutdown land. You see the 2 who shot crossbow bolts at him drop their crossbows and go to you with their swords. This 21 hits, I'm
Yes.
fairly sure. So that is another 5 points of damage.
Okay.
And then the other one swings its scimitar, and that would be a 16 to hit.
No.
They miss. Blade skimming just over squirrel fur.
Maybe like a little bit
You
of
just get one.
little piece of hair just goes.
Nice.
Son of a bitch!
And then you
Shot my hair. Sorry.
you get one of the remaining of the 2 on the wall turns at you and tries to swing their blade at you. So they are going to attack you. Does a 16 hit?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm squishy.
Taken 5 points of damage from a scimitar blade slashing.
Definitely can't have this doggo.
And you witness again as crossbow bolts fly.
No.
One hits the other guard on the wall. So one of their compatriots has shot their own people. That was fun. Roll in that one, see what happens. That hits that, and this. The others all shoot crossbow bolts, and only one hits, and it hits the barge captain again. This time it's a bit more of a glancing blow, and just leaves a deep furrow, kind of at the same place in the shoulder, just up higher, and you can see that it didn't stick in, but it definitely caused them some pain and knocked them down again a little bit. And then you hear another watermelon pop as the person that tried to blade you suddenly is just an ore blade that's shattered into so many different pieces. And then you see that ore blade just drop as the barge captain finally gives up on his oar and looks at his fists, curls them up, takes a breath, and jumps down to join you. All right, so that takes us to Bonnie. Bonnie has gotten really excited about these thorn whips, so she's going to use them again, but now she can't see, so she climbs up onto the wall. And I think that you probably just see this formation that looks like seaweed for a moment until it turns into this thorny whip, swings around, and it hits one of the people right in front of you, and then fades away into seaweeds again. That, double check that. You can see that it kind of like wrapped in 2 hit, missed. As it kind of pulled back, it did nothing to them, but it definitely scared them. And that takes us to Asher.
I'm going to say, anvil to weapon. Get up and fight these bandits. Time for dance battle. That is animating performance, and the 400-pound anvil leaps to life.
Wakes up and leaps to life. So,
Oh dear God.
describe what you are having describe the rush of the anvil. Describe the dance. This now floating 400-pound anvil.
Hang on.
It has one attack that is just ridiculous.
I'm going to say Are you still hurting? Put some more pep in your step with these magic words. And I'm going to heal the barge captain again.
Okay, cool.
For 8.
Oh, awesome! You can that new wound heals up, and you can also see kind of just pulling at that last bolt, and that
I'm
seems
out
to
of
be
healing haikus, so I might have to stop healing.
solid. Um,
Okay.
Roll the attack for the anvil.
Okay.
Dancing item.
10 hit points. I'm trying to remember what I roll for this. Is it my magic attack?
I believe.
Melee weapon attack. Your spell attack modifier to hit.
Yeah, so just roll the attack and then add your spell modifier.
Does a 25 hit the nearest guard?
Oh, yes.
There's a force empowered slam, which is 1d10. 1d10 plus PB force damage. What does that mean?
Yeah, I got this. If you roll a 10, it's going to hit more than one guards person.
That's an 8.
Okay, cool. So you take out another guards person, mostly just a splatter in the grass.
It just like spins up to him like super fast, like a figure skater when they're doing like the, and then it just like bling, it just sends him flying and then stops, like a ta-da.
It's having its 3-point landing. Dun dun dun. Okay, cool. That's your turn, right? Let's
Yes.
go on to Trixie.
How many? Can I do like a quick duck down because I'm lower than where they would probably average stand, and try to assess how many people are left, just as a quick glance.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead and roll a perception check, but since you're low and not maybe having the view that they have, you'll be rolling with disadvantage.
Okay.
I don't know what damn is, but tell me what you got.
I rolled a 20.
Okay.
And a 13. So
okay.
I had a 19.
Okay. Why are you saying damn?
Because I rolled a 20! And that was the first dice I grabbed. Only natural 20 I got.
You count 10 feet that you can see from where you're at right now.
10 feet total or 10 pairs of feet?
10 feet total.
Okay.
Actually, I think it's technically 9, but you do the arithmetic and you realize that they're probably staying on 1 foot right now.
Got it. While I'm down here, I'm going to start swinging at legs and trying to knock people prone again.
Okay. So are you trying to knock down a lot of people prone, or are you trying to knock down an individual prone?
I'm going one at a time.
Okay. So this will be your action to have this joy. So roll a strength check.
Okay. I mean, I would be using... Well, okay. Okay.
Dun, dun, dun.
Just a check would be an 18.
Yeah, you chuck them down. The first individual you hit just boom, hit the back of their head, and you can see that they're just dazed. And if this was a cartoon, you would actually see little Tweety birds going around their head.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I can't.
Any bonus actions or anything?
I don't think I can because I didn't technically hit him.
I don't know if you had any other bonuses that you had. Besides your hitty type.
Up my sleeve?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Okay. Cool. Then that takes us to the top, and this is where the things all change and shift. The giant anvil splattering 2 individuals, the crazy thorn whips, and a flurry of furry was definitely enough to dishearten a few of them. And then to have this beast of an individual jump down as well, who's been squashing melons seems to put the fear into this group of low-level thug guards, and they begin to try to retreat. One is prone next to you and not getting up anytime soon, but there's another close enough to you that you will have an attack of opportunity should you like to take it. Would you like to take it?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, please roll your attack.
16.
Hits. Rolls the damage.
5.
You see, like, just that the hit that you take just knocks them a little bit. They stumble forward, and they regain their momentum and start sprinting off. But they're definitely, as you've kind of surmised from the damage that you've done so far, they're definitely going to go down. And I think that's the last person who has a opportunity attack like that. I would, given the distance that they have, just give you a chance to say anything else you would try to do as they were trying to run away, see if that takes out others or anything like that.
I would aim for the one that I had already hit on its way out with my crossbow and taken a shot at them.
Roll the attack for that. Would Asher be doing anything, or his dancing
I
anvil of
will
doom?
Skin my revolver. I'm gonna pull out my revolver of warning and try to shoot at the nearest one.
Okay,
running.
roll the attack for that as well. What's your total for your attack?
15.
Okay. That one is also going down. You don't have to roll the damage for it because this would definitely take it out.
Okay.
There's very little that could be done that it would survive. So if you want to describe what happens when you take out that last one.
I'm not trying to kill him. I'm trying to hit him in the shoulder to knock him down unconscious.
Okay. So it's just kind of like
I'm trying to
hit him and he
maybe he falls and hits his head. Yeah.
Whacks into a stone or
Runs
something
into a
and just is out.
Run into a tree.
Straight into the tree.
Watch out!
He gets hit, he gets turned, he goes straight into the tree. All right, Asher.
19.
19, that hits.
SMRT.
Roll the damage for that.
122 and an eighth. Double pyramid.
Nope, that one.
That is 9 damage.
And he was hit by that. So this one also is going out. You shot him, so I'm thinking he's dead.
Oh, Asher's in full eye for an eye mode right now. Like they
Okay.
killed a bunch of villagers. He doesn't give a shit. And
Okay.
then the
Careful
anvil
that
is
goes.
okay. So he's just gonna just do like a quick draw. Like it's all about the performance for him. So he's like does a quick draw and just like one down on the hammer like. And
The sound echoes, and it's an unfamiliar noise to most people here. Very few people have seen a firearm, and it draws a lot of attention. And in that moment of attention, all on you, as everybody's eyes are on you, your anvil has a moment. What does your anvil do?
Is there? I think its motion is 30 feet.
They're definitely within range of that.
Okay, it's gonna swing. If
'Cause it's further out
if I'm
than
allowed to
y'all
do
are.
this, I'm gonna swing back, and then swing forward and just hit the nearest one like a giant golf club, like just.
Okay. Kind of like a racing golf club coming along, but roll the attack. Let's see if this hits.
Mm,
I mean, the base roll is a 15.
Oh, it hits. Roll the attack. The damage, I mean. Words.
9.
That
9.
one. 9 straight? No, they got the PB. Okay, so that's... Yeah, you take out another.
Yeah.
And all you see are 3 former guards people, thug-bandits, running off into the woods down a very familiar path that does not necessarily come to good ends.
Where the spiders live.
Most probably.
Enjoy, Sheila. Bye bye.
Oh my god, bye!
And with that, we're going to end our night because
Oh!
it is time.
No!
I'm going to have a quick conversation with these folks about some things that they can do.
Thank you for watching. Make sure to click the like button and to subscribe and to click the bell so you know every time we go live. Although I can tell you it's every Wednesday. I don't know why I've gone into this accent. But here we are.
Don't worry, it'll be okay.
Yeah.
And transition.
And bye.